What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Women's Rugby Treehouse. It's me, Julia, and as always, I have with me Hattie. Hi, Hattie.
Hello.
Folks,
We've been chatting for half an hour before
we've been
recording.
chatting for half an hour. We consider it a warm-up, and we know that everything we discuss are things you do not want to hear about. What you do want to hear about, though, we have some good news. Women's rugby is back, baby. We have two major tournaments starting up, which, as we talked about last session, is kind of session last episode, last session
It,
mentally,
yeah.
uh, as we act as each other's only mental health professionals.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hey, more affordable than the NHS, I just learned.
What a wonderful system. Genuinely, socialized healthcare, love it. Big up, bless.
Okay, but okay.
However, big negatives in the way that
Oh,
it's
okay. I was like, so
implemented.
here's the thing, though. We do want it.
Yeah. Oh,
It
this is
seems
what I mean. I'm
yeah,
shitting on the NHS in a woke way.
in a woke way, and
Mm.
this and like we have this conversation as friends, like off the pod or whatever. Because like the UK badly wants to like import privatized healthcare, which is absolutely don't.
I don't think we do, but
I
the
hear it a lot though,
but
but from like the
politicians
worst people in the
do.
world. Yeah,
I
I was
feel
gonna
like
say I hear it from the
politicians
worst people in the
do,
world. Yeah,
and the like ultra
because they
right
can afford
wing.
it.
Yeah. But
That's
everybody
crazy.
else is like, why would we want to pay for healthcare? We've got the NHS, and then complain that the NHS doesn't
And then I
work.
was so here was what I was gonna say is it's also like incredibly UK that like you have to both complain about the NHS and then also exclusively use the NHS.
Yes.
You complain about capitalism and yet you have an iPhone. Interesting, etc. and so on. And yet this is an anti-capitalist. Oh, that I think that is the one thing that would make people love a women's rugby podcast hosted by two annoying queer women is that if we were also really annoyingly anti-capitalist, which we both really are.
Mm.
Um,
I say in front of my wall of stuff.
I was gonna say your wall of stuff, and right after you recorded, and everybody go check out the conversation that you had with friend of the pod Hugh on
Mm.
class and rugby. We don't necessarily have a window in today to talk about it, but honestly, folks, listeners, chat, when don't we talk about that? When we talk about women's rugby. Speaking of huge divides in class, and oh, actually, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was going to say we're not Women's Rugby Treehouse anymore. We're Woke Rugby Treehouse.
It's woke. It's wokeby. It's wokeby rugby treehouse. Everybody loves it, by the way. That's what everybody was begging for.
Mm.
If we have time, we're going to touch briefly on Women's Six Nations, Pacific Four. Of course, with those being on and finally synced up, we have a break in PWR.
Mhm.
Um, there's both a lot to get into, and of course, we've very intelligently our schedule are recording this on a Wednesday, so we do not have team sheets yet. So what we are going to do is speculate.
Yes. Unfortunately, I am going to Cardiff, so I can't record whilst I'm in Cardiff because I won't have my mic. So we're
Exactly. Can't
recording
can't
now.
can't record on the way to Cardiff. And then also I feel like so many other podcasts have actually not women's rugby, but overall, definitely have it like the actual rugby part covered. What they don't have enough of, what you don't get from your good scaz rugbies, is theories that are proven wrong the next day.
Mm.
We specialize in those.
Yeah, and also qualified Instagram inspectors.
So that's the thing though.
Mm.
Friend and producer of the pod, frankly, Hugh, uh did remind us inadvertently that we are both absolute fucking freaks. And we have a beat on the Instagram and TikTok uh beat. It's called the beat. Uh we have that I think probably ahead of everybody else, mainly due to having fake jobs,
Mm.
which I really like about us.
Yeah.
It also makes us incredibly qualified to do what we're about to do, which is tell you about these tournaments. Hattie, where
Yeah.
should we start?
So we're going to start off with the thing that we dislike the most. So we're going to talk about England and the Six Nations.
Oh, okay. I thought you were.
Yeah.
So the thing is, we didn't say which one we were starting with, so we were just diving straight into it. And I thought you were gonna be like the one we disliked the most, Women's Six Nations. Recently, I was told the more important competition, despite not having two of the top three best teams. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Uh, so now that we have alienated the small pocket of
Mhm.
people that we know we can get, which are rugby fans who live in England, do they have any players or are they all pregnant?
Well, so Julia, as we said, we are qualified Instagram investigators, and
That's right.
with my fake job, I spent at least 4 hours today
That's right.
creating a spreadsheet of hell. Um, so
And listeners, I want you to know that I accused Hattie of the 4 hours because when I woke up, again, we are 5 hours apart. When I woke up, she was working on it. And then right before we recorded, she was working on it. So when I said and we were talking, I was like, "You've been working on it 4 hours." She was like, "Let's go with that."
Yep.
How long was it, or do we not want to expose you?
You might not want to expose me.
Let's not expose you.
This is, can you see my screen? Because I shared
Yes, this is
something the
great.
other week and you couldn't see it, was the problem. In the recording,
Right.
you couldn't see it. So hopefully you guys can see my very special.
I was gonna say, this is kind of fantastic, to be honest. I'm sorry that you're the biggest fucking nerd in the world for doing it, but like,
Yeah. So this, to
this is
be
gonna
fair,
be so useful.
apologies to our audio listeners.
Right.
I will describe what's on the screen. Will
I
be
will read, I will
accessible.
read every item on this spreadsheet.
Maybe don't do that. We would be here for a long
I
time.
will read every tab in the spreadsheet.
So basically, this spreadsheet shows for every single one of the 10 countries that are playing over the I'm going to say the tier one women's rugby competitions. All
Yeah.
10 of those nations, obviously, we're excluding South Africa and Japan because World Rugby says they don't matter. Um,
Despite that, I keep sending them my phone number.
Call
And
me.
because well,
Yeah. Anyway, so those 10 countries, I've inputted all of the people, all of the players who played last year's Six Nations or PAC4, the Rugby World Cup, and then they are on the squad list for this year's Six Nations or PAC4. It's color coded, so you know who's in, who's out, who has played in three squads, who's played in two, people who are returning if they missed a tournament, people who
there are players who have played for 3 countries.
three tournaments. So like
Oh,
if
okay.
they've played
Gotcha. Oh, no, no, no.
Women's
I
Six
understand
Nations,
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, People that have retired, people that are out medically, it's all color coded.
It would be kind of ridiculous going through all of this if we didn't also share it. Are we going to share it? Should we share it through the Rugby History Project?
Yeah, I can do. I can share it.
I was gonna say, well, you put in so much work and it does look really great. And there are people who are gonna be like doing fantasy guides and
Yeah,
stuff.
who maybe want this? Anyway, so the ins and the outs, which is kind of the important bit.
Yes.
Lark Atkin Davis, Zoe Allcroft, Abby Ward, and today we found out Rosie Gallagher, all
Today.
we're not going there, are all up the duff. They are all pregante. They are all missing this year's Women's Six Nations because they've got some babbies. Tatiana Hurd and Jade Checkles are just regular injured. Um,
The
so
boring kind of injured at this point. I choose to believe that England is trying to dim Alicia Butcher's shine. I have no proof.
because they were like, oh, so the three regular babies, but they weren't taking the shine off Alicia, so we've got a Gaby now as well.
Got a Gaby.
Yeah,
And see that's the number one thing that I do believe that England I
it's what they were
they
missing.
simply they simply don't specialize in Gabies like Wales. We've already got three Gabies if we do count a coach of an age grade team, which I do, is three Gabies. So a former player and now coach of
Oh,
an age grade
and
team.
she's playing for Gwalia.
Oh my God, that's right. Oh my God, that's right. That's insane. I
Yeah.
completely forgot. Karis, I'm sorry. I did know that and
Yeah.
then forget you because you are the Ashley Beck of the women's world. You are doing everything.
She is. And then Abby Dow and Emily Scarrett have both retired. In we have got returning Connie Powell, Lizzie Hanlon, Daisy Hibbert Jones, Flo Robinson, Mia Venner, and Bo Westcombe Evans. It's a mixture of like injury
Yeah.
returns for the likes of Bo Westcombe Evans, who missed last year's Six Nations due to injury. Um, and then the rest are just kind of like is Flo Robinson? Oh yeah, Flo Robinson is returning. The rest are just kind of like they missed out because there were other people ahead of them, I think.
Right.
And obviously we've got a rather long list here.
Yep.
Um, we also have a long list of uncapped players. We've got eight. Um, so we've got Annabelle Meta from Ealing Trailfinders, which I'm quite excited about. That one's exciting.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
gonna be a good one. So
Um,
is the next one?
yeah. Christiana Balogun. Balogun. Yep.
Yep.
Um, yep. And she is actually the oldest. All of the other England potential debuts are all under 23. She's the oldest at 28.
I
Um,
did not know that.
yeah, but she didn't she have cancer? Am
I
I
was gonna
right?
say she
Yeah.
also beat cancer.
Yeah.
She was
So
busy.
that's an interesting fact for you all. Demelza Short, who is actually a second row. Uh,
She loves it. She loves
yeah,
the joke. I promise you. As somebody with a name who is constantly joked about, I promise you she loves it.
yeah. Jodie Fugazi, Hani, I can never say her name right.
Hi, Niala.
Haniala Latui from Loughborough Lightning. I should be able to say her name because she's from Loughborough Lightning. I do
Yeah,
apologise. Uh, Carmela Morale, Sarah Parry, and obviously Millie Wiz.
obviously. Obviously. It's
Um,
good. It's gonna be a good tournament if you're a Bears fan,
mhm.
which is nice because otherwise, the Six Nations is my personal hell. I love it
Yeah,
to death. It's one of my favorite competitions. It also gives me heartburn for a month.
yeah. And obviously because Zoe Allcroft, Zoe, what's her new surname?
Stratford.
Stratford is out with the old pregnancy disease. Um, Meg Jones is in as
She's out with
captain.
two. No, I would like to. I think we should do the WRU for everybody. They have parasites.
Parasites, that's what it is.
And you know what?
She's got
And
the
you know what?
meningitis.
That's what cis women love. They love it when you refer to their babies as parasites. I am told that reliably by a baby doctor who wouldn't lie to me to embarrass me.
Yeah,
I think
it's her sister.
it's my sister, and she would absolutely say that. Yes.
Yeah. Um, so that's the main bit of changes. The other big change that we've got is obviously, as I said, Emily Scarrett has left the building, but not quite. They pulled her back in. They did not. They did not let her. They kept her. What's it? Her card to get in the building. She's still got that. They just changed the
Yeah,
job
her
title. The
they kept her
lanyard.
and then I was gonna say she kept the parking garage fob. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Yep.
So she is now in as head of attack, I believe.
hmm
Um,
And by the way, thank you for that because I assume you're gonna see the other part.
because it means that Lou Meadows has gone on an adventure and she's left. And she's gone to the big US of A.
The big smoke, they call it.
Yes. Um, so that would be really interesting. I have to be honest, Emily Scarrow, like it's the same at Loughborough when because obviously she retired from all rugby at the same time and she immediately went to being attack coach at Loughborough Lightning. Nothing
Yeah,
really changed
which
because she was
I was gonna say,
already
which it kind of felt like, right? I mean, they I don't remember who it was, and that was very silly of me. But somebody recently put out a bit of a think piece on player coaches and whether that should continue or if that is
Mm.
uh I don't know what the tack was, but I guess I
I
could see. I guess I
was
could
it
see why people don't like that, but
was it Jess Bunyard who
was
did
it
it?
Jess Bunyard? I think
Yeah,
so. Yeah, I think it was
I think
Jess.
her point was that it shouldn't like at lower levels it takes advantage of people, and I do agree. And
Right.
I also think
Right.
at sometimes a higher level they'll do it. But I think with Emily Scarrett in particular, I think she took on that role because she was long term injured and they didn't know whether or not she was going to come back. Um,
Right. Yeah. And Skaz's position was so unique for the moment in time because I would agree with what most of the major pundits are saying that like women's rugby is in the middle of a transformation right now, which is true. She was also among the first to ever be professional.
mhm.
So, there was a lot on her shoulders anyway. She is one of the best players. But especially when your best friend is Mo, and she's just never gonna fucking retire. I can understand why she was probably like, I want to hold off till the very last minute, but
Yeah, I think she probably was like,
it
oh, I
was so
really want
long
to make
term.
it to the first
Yeah,
Lions tour. And I think because
yeah,
it that was like dangled for so long, I think she probably was like, oh, I'm going to become a Lion. And then obviously she didn't. And that,
Which honestly sucks. I mean, the Lions couldn't have controlled this and she couldn't have controlled this, but like as an outsider looking at like that sucks.
She's probably
She
going to
she
be
she would
like,
have earned it. She'll probably be one of the coaches.
I mean, oh yeah, she'll be the attack
Yeah.
coach for the Lions 100%. I feel like we're getting very off topic, but I, Skaz is one of
Hey,
those people, like, I've always respected her, but now as a Loughborough Lightning season ticket holder and seeing her week in, week out, like, she quite a lot of the time you'll see coaches who literally just sit in the coaching box. You'll
yeah,
see ex-players as coaches who sit in the coaching box or sometimes like don't even turn up, especially because she's obviously, doing like TV gigs and stuff as well. She's out
absolutely.
like doing kick
Yeah.
returns and
I
everything else
I
with people
I
like
don't think I genuinely think she is. I mean, whatever, she's an England player. Like other than all that, the silly like fake hatred of that or whatever, like I don't think you can pry her from this game.
she's
There's no
she's
way.
she's one of the goats.
Yeah, I mean, yes. When I think about it, especially because we have two goats existing right now, um, I I obviously I love Portia Woodman-Wycliffe. Everybody does, but I don't necessarily think she's going to go into coaching. I don't think
No.
it's what she wants to do.
And I think with Emily Scarrett, like there have been a couple of people
I
who've kind
think
of
that's
said,
what she wants to do.
yeah, like that's always what she's wanted to do. Like she
Yes.
was a PE teacher, she did.
She and Sarah Hunter have both said for a very long time, both playing and now not playing, that they were like, this was always the goal.
Yeah.
Um, and
I
honestly, we've seen in the past, and obviously it happens more in the men's game than the women's for now. But there have definitely been times that ex-players have become coaches that shouldn't have, and
yeah.
they fizzled out. It's not like I'm talking about people who have failed up, but yeah, some
I, I
people are not right for it.
I have seen some people try and say that like Skaz, she's been given this role too soon or that she's been
Mm,
whatever.
I don't agree.
I don't agree. I do think
No,
one, I don't understand why
they
people are
didn't.
saying that,
What
but they didn't say that when Sarah Hunter
I
got
was
the
just gonna say,
gig.
why would you say that about
And
why? Mm,
and Emily Scarrett has got a better coaching pedigree. She's been coaching
yes,
longer
and
than
I
Sarah
mean,
Hunter. And technically, she was appointed Loughborough Lightning attack coach first
right.
and then brought in for Red Roses. So,
I don't see and on the flip side, it's good that we happen to be two usually like big England critics, but like we're both people who are very happy to say when something is a bad decision or somebody is a bad fit in general, especially for England though. No. There's
no,
no.
this, yeah. So that's,
That feels I feel like if you're somebody saying that, like that would genuinely lower my perception of your ball knowledge. Really? Of all people, Scals was put in too early? Okay. I think honestly, like I was looking at it and I was like, thank God, because I genuinely believe that if that wasn't there, she would have been like, all right, fine, I'm gonna keep playing. And she was gonna break her neck.
yeah. So how do you think that England will go this Six Nations?
I mean, for like, might as well get it out of the way. Obviously they're the favorites just because they always are. But and I know that it's always a hot take to say. But I will remind listeners that last year France held them 43-42 at Twickenham.
Mhm.
As you have pointed out, it does happen that one of the two, like, well, actually, no. I mean, Marley Packer is in, but leadership has been taken off of her for good reason. Zoe Stratford is out. Leadership is different. It's not that I don't think that Meg can be a captain. They have really, honestly, a little bit protest too much are about the RFU is putting out a lot of content of people saying, no, 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 Meg is going to be a great captain. Oh, okay. I don't care. That said, that's always a shakeup. There are a bunch of new names. Obviously, they're good names. England is deep, but new. And that always presents at least a little challenge. I don't know. I understand I'm
I
hedging a
think,
lot. I think that this is the first time, in my opinion, that there is a chance that they could lose. I don't
yeah.
think it will happen. I'm not saying that it's likely, but I am saying that it is definitely possible.
I also think the thing that we could see go horrifically wrong is their line out.
No offense, great.
Yeah.
Great.
Like and I've seen people try and argue the toss about it, but like you're
right.
missing your two starting second rows.
You don't have Abby Ward. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the big one.
You and then your bench option in Rosie Gallagher. You've got Morwenna Tatling and Lily Ice Campion who've kind of been like in and
Both,
out of the
but
side.
I was gonna say both quite young.
They're both very young. Um, and then also your number one hooker.
Your number one hooker. You're absolutely right. And I didn't really think about that only because I was thinking about, honestly, I was thinking more about how many new names we're seeing. Um, but that's a great point, and especially because when other teams are asked, or like when representatives from other teams are asked about what is so consternating about playing against England, a lot of the answers are often the set piece, which makes me really happy. I don't remember. I think it was just a piece of media that came out. I think it might have been Monet Falou was talking about how the one thing they wish they could steal from another team is England's set piece.
It
That's a
could
great
get
point.
interesting.
I really hope so.
I think that's something that we could have an eye on. Um, is I'm going to ask about every country.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to be like the breakout? It doesn't have to be a new cap. It can be somebody that's already capped, but like this is the person that you think people should watch, but not necessarily like a somebody that's already a mainstay.
Um,
Does that make sense?
yeah, absolutely. I would say it's so with England when I am asked this question or when I'm thinking about it myself, my instinct is always to go to the backs
Mm.
because in my mind, if I were one of the other Six Nations captains being asked like what frustrates me the most, for me, what frustrates me the most for being somebody against England is the potency of the back line. Yeah, obviously the set piece is great, but for the longest time they were so reliant on that rolling maul, and now that they're trying to get away from it, and we're seeing the like, well, Abby's gone now, but we're seeing the Ellies and the Just Breaches being more important. All of that said, my answer would be either Bo Wescombe Evans or Millie David.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I really want to see a backline for England. Well, I don't actually want to see it because it'd
I
be
know
lethal, but
it'll be lethal.
I think that both Wescombe Evans and Millie David are in better form than Jess Breach at the minute. I would love to see a
And
backline of
Claude,
Millie,
unfortunately, which I
yeah,
hate to
and
say,
Claude as
but
well.
yeah.
I would love to see a backline of Millie David, Bo Wescombe Evans,
And
and
Bo,
Ellie
yeah,
Coldan. Yeah,
absolutely. Yep,
I
I
think
think
that
so.
could be
Um,
pretty lethal. And with
and I
that,
think,
should we move
and
on?
then, yeah, and then not for nothing. And of partnerships, obviously, the two wings are basically not even a partnership. They barely see each other. But that said, like, if I could pick now, I think there's a chance that I would pick those two as my starters now
Yeah,
if I were England, which is crazy. Which is crazy considering how young both of them are.
yeah. With that, let's move on to across the channel. We'll
Oui, oui.
head to France. There's a lot of changing going on here. Now,
Mm.
I will say I have had to do a bit of guesswork. I
Hmm.
did have to go onto players' Instagrams to figure out when the last time they
Same.
played was. I was going on the Elite On website, pressing translate to English, and seeing what the lineups were to try and work out if people had retired, if they were injured, whether they just weren't picked. So
Yeah.
if one of these is wrong,
If you guys know, and then also if anybody listening knows, we know we do have some French fans. Please let us know, especially if you have any insider knowledge,
yeah,
because there are a few that I have some real questions about.
yeah. So I think the biggest one that's missing is Agathe Chauchat, Agathe
Hmm.
Jarin. Um, she's been left out. Um, Tiani Falou has been left out. I
Hmm.
will say Akemba and Conde, and I believe
Kemba
Arbe,
and
that
Conde are the
they're
ones
all
I
in
don't understand.
sevens.
Oh, they're
Oh
okay.
no,
That
Conde is not, I don't think, but
I
Akemba and Arbe are in
so
sevens.
you asked friend of the pod, Karak, what the deal is with Conde, and it sounds like what the word on the street is that it's performance based.
Yeah,
Really? How
wild.
could it have? Well, I mean, who are you pairing with Vernier?
Yeah, and
I mean, you
especially
have
because you've got Menage has retired,
right.
and then
Big
with
O or no, Big O is a hooker. Yeah.
yeah with Jurin, has obviously been left out, but Bijou retired.
Hmm.
So that's
Our friend is going to make fun of you. It's Bigo.
bigger. I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's just going to be very funny.
Um, there's just a lot of choices. The one thing I will say that I do find very peculiar about this squad, and you will notice it as we go through the other Six Nations
Mm.
squads, they've picked a very small squad.
That was the direction I was going in. Like, it's truly crazy. And I will be honest, I didn't see the whole equation because I've been like so. I don't know. I really like watching Conde play, so it's really upsetting for me, and I was kind of pissed. But you brought two centers. That's not.
Like this is they have
That's
got
it.
they've got 32 players in this squad. One of the other teams has like basically 40.
Yeah. So wait, good time for me to ask. Wasn't I thought there was a cap? I thought there was always a cap for
Not on
Six
the Six
Nations.
Nations because the Six
Oh.
Nations is it's not a World Rugby tournament. So you can have however many you like. Whereas when we get to
Oh.
the PAC4
Why?
squads, because it's a World
Yes.
Rugby
Yes, I knew that.
competition,
Well, yeah. So I was coming to
there's
it
a
from
hard
PAC4.
cap.
Yep.
But the Six
Yeah,
Nations
I
does
fucking
not.
know.
So they've just picked a really small squad for no apparent reason.
This is also an opportune time to note. I mean, we've covered it a lot in bits and pieces, but I want to close that like very long over several episodes circle. We talked several times and for various different reasons about the coaching at France. The last that you and I talked about it to the listeners is that David Ortiz and Gael Minot were out. Now Francois Rottier is in, which is great.
But he has picked a wild squad.
Right. So that was where I wanted to go is that like if you are a ball knower and know back enough for when Retier was coaching several he coached a few elite run teams. He did a stint with Canada, I think as an assistant. And now he's back. That for me, like he has really deep experience in women's. That's great. We were really worried that they were going to go the route of we're going to bring in some, some guy who's never touched women's because that's kind of what France likes to do sometimes. So I was cautiously optimistic, and then I saw the squad. I don't
Yeah.
I don't have an
And
answer
then
for that. It's
uh
very strange to me.
uh I was sent the like a leaked squad.
Right. Yeah, please.
Um which again was wild. Escudero was out,
Was out.
Fu was at 6. Like it's just a bit of a mad it was a mad squad. Um it could just get very, very peculiar very quickly, I think.
That's my thing. So
Do you think that they're gonna like move
I was going to say they have to.
Bourgeois into centre?
They're going to have to. I
Yeah.
was thinking, well, Boulard, I think will go to the center.
Yeah.
Um, Bourgeois. So here's what I was thinking about Bourgeois. Bourgeois is they can't risk putting her in a position where she's not kicking, and in the center immediately you aren't kicking as much. It was my thought. I don't actually know, and I know that like we've seen Boulard play center, not a lot, definitely not a lot.
But it's just weird that obviously, like whenever you have the like what
Bringing
people are
bringing two,
classed as,
bringing only two of a position where you need two at minimum is crazy,
like bringing two centres but four fullbacks,
and four wings.
it's just a bit weird. I don't know. I just find this
Can
squad,
Grisette can Grisette play center? Yes.
yeah. This is it. Like
Didn't you
it's
say
always a bit weird when the classification
right?
is down,
Right.
but
No, you're right.
it, it's just a bit. This entire squad I just find a bit peculiar.
Really is.
Um, with that, I'm going to ask you the two questions I asked you before.
Yes.
What do you think France is going to do this year? And who is going to be your standout player, the player to watch for you, but actually the player to watch, not just, name
Yeah.
recognition.
Right. Absolutely. So I mean I know I touched on it earlier with England, and I still want to believe that they can do it. The two things that concern me are they came closest with a different coaching squad. Whether or not it was the coaching or the players or some mix of something because of the way that France rugby operates, and the amount they do and don't put out in terms of like interviews, coverage. I simply don't know. I would really love to know, for example, like if the team, and I say this because we have seen like very evidentially that France is a team that like when it doesn't have the right leadership, it flails. They are I don't want to say like
Vibes
emotional.
based.
Right. Thank you. Exactly. That's perfect. I was going to say, I don't want to say that they're emotional because that's not it. It's that they are vibes based. They are a team that when they feel good, perform way better than when they than when they feel bad.
Mm.
And definitely when they were mired in the, I mean, it wasn't psychological abuse because we've had that in Wales. But it wasn't great when they were going through their contract disputes either.
Mm.
We know that that can affect it. So all of that is long to say. I would really the only team that I believe can beat England at this point is France.
Mm.
I'm excited to talk about Scotland, but I really do think it's France. But that said, I think unless this is the right leadership, and I'm glad Flew is still there, an erstwhile captain, so at least it's somebody who knows what they're doing. I think second again, which is unfortunate. I would really like it to be that they did it. But
I
anyway,
can I just
yeah,
jump in
please.
quickly?
Of
Um,
course.
I I predicted that France would win the Women's Six Nations based off like the squad that they had last year. I thought
Hmm.
new captain, new
Same.
coach, but same sort of squad core. They can beat
Exactly.
England. This is such a weird squad that I don't know.
That's my that's my main concern, and that was why.
And the thing, like all of these squads we'll look through, there have been people that have been dropped. There are people that are out injured. There are
Mhm.
whatever. This, there are just people missing that I just find a bit
That I just don't get. And
peculiar.
and and here's the other thing. I'm glad that you did tell me that a few of the ones that I was like, what are out on sevens. Okay. The seventh circuit is over. So that's
They're
one.
just doing the finals bit, aren't they?
Oh, did that not already happen? I thought that
No,
also
they
happened.
haven't.
Then
No,
okay.
they've got that
Okay.
stupid bit at the end.
Yeah, I know. No, you're right. I just thought that those happened. Oh yeah, because they're going to be in Bordeaux. You're absolutely right.
Mm.
So okay, then I guess I'm a little bit less mad, especially about Okemba. Um, I'm still mad about Conde. Uh, I do wonder why Herbie. Oh, whatever.
She's out with sevens. Arbe's out with sevens.
Oh, okay. Okay. Then my answer to the second question is going to be now. Let me check one more because I want to make sure that I don't skip over. So. It's not on name recognition, but it is on like if you know recognition. And considering how big this shakeup is, I'm gonna say somebody safe, and I'm gonna say Bourgeois. Bourgeois is gonna
Hmm.
be the one to watch for me.
I am going to be interested to see how Bartholomew deals with coming back
I mean,
after Nom Nom Gate.
yeah, I knew that's where you were going, but like I really
I've
don't
also
think.
realised I've made a mistake, but we will ignore that.
Oh, wonderful. Um, yeah.
But yeah, but we'll see. I have to be honest,
Well,
this
I'm
squad
I'm
is just wild. Well, Wembe is another one actually. I'm quite excited to see.
okay. That was what I was gonna say. I wondered if anything else caught your eye. I mean, the prop pool is insane.
I know it's very very
Two
deep.
centers and six props.
I think six props is a normal amount of
That's
props.
fine. That's fine. It is.
Okay, moving on. We're going to a
It.
country that doesn't have a lot of depth at prop. Silent.
I
Now,
mean,
I'm
oh,
going to point
at
out
prop. I was like, they have two.
my favorite thing about this squad, right, is that poor Beth has been uncapped in three
I know
separate
in
camps.
three separate camps. Beth
And this
Beth
is
Buttimer Beth Buttimer, who it is Buttimer, but I like to say it only because she chose it as her own handle, Beth Butt Timer, which is funny
yeah.
to me. But it's what she called herself. So.
Yeah. And another one that I find really interesting, um, she
Katrina
starts as a
Finn.
scrum half, but I think she's actually a fly half. Is
I
that
mean,
Katrina Finn again went uncapped. I do find it really interesting how many players were uncapped in the last Six Nations,
Who
left
are
the
now
squad,
like, yeah.
and they're coming back uncapped, or they like it's just a really interesting. Uh,
What do you mean left the squad though?
so like Katie Heffernan went
Right.
into the squad uncapped, now not in the squad. Amy
Oh, okay.
Larn, the same.
Yeah.
Um, Alma
I mean,
Adshman, Sophie Barrett, and then you've also got Beth Buttimer and Katrina Finn, who are just
yeah, who
uncapped.
have just had shitty luck. No, you're right.
I just think it's a bit interesting. Um, talk about the outs very quickly. Uh, McMahon again is injured. When's she not?
Oof.
No offense to her.
Yeah, and I hate to say that too, because a few I in our Instagram sleuthing, several of the Irish players have spoken about Tricky's leadership, and it feels like we're always talking about leadership at Ireland, which sucks because it's not a team that like has a leadership crisis. That's not where I'm going. Um,
It's
all
just
I know is
whoever
that
they
like
pick as captains get injured.
I, oh well, maybe there is a curse. I was gonna go the other way. Was also surely having that kind of churn in the captain position. It has to feel in some way like I don't know. That's harsh. I was gonna say rudderless, but it's not. It's Ireland. Like Ireland obviously has a plan, but it does feel like it changes like every tournament,
Yeah.
which
Yeah. Um, Amy Lee Costigan Murphy Crowe
mm,
is pregnant,
she's Brigante.
pregante, but because it's Amy Lee Murphy Crowe Costigan, it's twins.
One to give each of her many names to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Correct.
Um, then we've got a couple that have just been left out of the squad. Again, I did
Yeah.
my Instagram sleuthing. All of these players seem to be, apart from Kira Patty, who seems to just dropped off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Um, the others are all playing. Scuffle McCabe has been playing down in New Zealand.
I was gonna
Um,
say I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Kiripati went to league, to be honest.
yeah.
Yeah.
But Dealey, Bowles, and McCarthy are all playing. They're just
Not in the squad.
not in squad. Emma Corey Fallon and Nicole Foley have both retired. Corey Fallon
Oh,
entirely, and Foley has retired internationally, but is still
okay.
playing club.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, I watched Fowley and AIL, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, in we have got a very long list. So
Yeah.
Jane Clohessy, Erin King, who is our new captain, which I'm sure we'll talk about. Uh, why is Grace Moore in there? Right. Ailish Quinn, Dorothy Wall, Vicky Elms Kinlan, and then we've got a very long list of uncapped players. We've got 9.
Hmm.
So along with the two we've already mentioned, we've got and I apologise if I say
I was gonna
anything
say, do
wrong.
you really want to? Because we do have Irish listeners.
Um, Ailish Cahill, Avi McGrath, Jemima Adams Verling, Sophie Barrett, Katrina Finn, Neve Gallagher, Alana McInerney, and Robin O'Connor. All new.
Yep.
Stunning.
Yeah, it is stunning. I mean, we could have a lot to talk about here, but as we have talked about actually in the last episode, um, we've covered a lot of these people because they all played in the Celtic Challenge, which is good.
Yeah.
But we know these are not really unknown quantities.
Mhm.
I don't feel I don't feel I don't feel like there's a risk putting any of them in. A lot of the time, I mean, we talk about it. There are times when a player can be too young to go up to seniors
Mhm.
or too inexperienced. There are several players, when we get to Wales, there are several players who aren't in the squad, and I'm glad, but people thought that they should be because they had good Celtic challenges, but that's not a good enough reason to play in the Six Nations.
And that's
These,
actually something when we get to Australia we
yes,
can talk about.
absolutely, absolutely. That's a really good one to talk about it for.
Mhm.
So
Um,
yeah, oh yeah, go on.
the one thing I do find interesting,
Okay, I was gonna say, let's do Aaron King.
Erin King as captain.
Mm.
There's been a lot of press about Erin King as
I was just gonna
captain coming out
say,
of Ireland. She was not on my radar as a
no.
captain. I do understand. why, because she is obviously contracted back in Ireland, and I think, to be perfectly honest, most of she's a guaranteed starter, whereas some of the other maybe captaincy options
That's true.
are not guaranteed
Um,
starters. If you look at
I,
Aoife Dalton, Eve Higgins, like
I mean,
the centres is if I
well, my first thought is why wasn't it Dorothy Wall?
because
That's
she's not contracted. She's playing
I don't
next to her. I think
I
they
don't fucking
wanted.
care.
Well, neither do I,
Like,
because
I
if
know.
I had to pick a captain, it would be Brittany Hogan.
Oh yeah, that also
Um,
absolutely.
that would have been my
Honestly,
option, but
I'd be happy with either of those to be honest.
yeah, she is obviously in sale now. I think they
Yeah,
probably wanted somebody who was contracted. That feels
yeah.
like where they've gone.
No,
I
that's
think it
fair.
probably, if Aoife Wafer hadn't have gone to Quins, it probably would have been her, even though I don't necessarily think she's a captaincy option. I think she's just a big name
So here's the question then: why didn't it just go back to Sam Manan?
because she's not contracted. I think they just wanted a
Oh,
contracted
right. I
player.
keep no. It's just that that they're the only country that does this, so I keep forgetting that that's something.
Mm.
No, you're right. You're probably right.
So I think it had to be a player that was playing in Ireland that
Give it
was
to Linda Jugang. She
contracted.
probably doesn't want it.
She's not contracted anymore.
I okay.
I
There's
know.
always something with you.
So I think they wanted a contracted player who plays in Ireland, who was a guaranteed starter, that left you with Erin King.
It's
She's
literally just Aaron King that I'm looking at
recognizable.
it.
She
Yeah,
is she's a recognizable player. She's known within people who aren't women's rugby fans probably know her, and Aoife Wafer out of the squad. I get it. I just don't
is
know
Dana
if she.
O'Brien is Dana O'Brien not contracted? That would be another one I'd think of.
Yeah, she's probably the only other option.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Um,
I mean, or Eve Higgins, but
but then I don't. But there's
I
actually quite a lot
actually
of
see.
competition
I
in
was
that
gonna say,
centre.
I was gonna say the competition is one aspect, and then the other one is like I do see a good argument against it.
Mm.
Just in terms of well, I was gonna say they might not want to make a habit of turning sevens players into 15s captains, but they did,
They
so
did,
never
yeah.
mind.
I just, I
Okay,
think,
and so here's the other thing. Yes, they've put out a lot of press. IRFU is also very good at that, so awesome. But they have, whether it's real or not, they have imbued me with some confidence because they have gotten a lot of players to talk about it. And
yeah,
it and you know what? It sounds like they've got player buy-in, and it doesn't really matter about our, and frankly, we're kind of old. Like we are old in the rugby game. Leadership profiles have probably moved on without us.
yeah.
So
I have to be honest. I think it's for me. I look at her and I'm like, oh, I don't necessarily know if she's.
it's the name wreck, you really think?
Yeah, I can. The thing is, I am so used to Ireland, not just in the women's game, but in the men's game as well, not being particularly good at picking captains.
Hmm. And it could absolutely just be.
Yeah.
It could
Um.
just be what they do.
Yeah. So with that, I'm going to ask you the two magic questions.
Yep.
What do you
Okay.
think Ireland are going to do, and who is going to be your standout?
So normally, well, not normally, in the past, I would be worried by the amount of churn that now, when I started being a rugby fan and also really up to like the last 5 years, Ireland wasn't a super high churn team.
Mm.
They had captains who lasted several seasons, same captain. I'm thinking peak 2014. It's not always been the case. I would be a lot more worried about this if, like I said, if there were unknown quantities, but, and we've talked about this before, so I won't harp on about it now because now more than ever, we're going to start seeing whether or not you and I were right that that Celtic Challenge experience and being so winning in Celtic Challenge is going to be a benefit for them. Here's the thing: they all play together. No other teams, no other teams that we're about to talk about have that except England, and I guess France to a lesser extent, but even them less so. Um, I don't know about placing. It's always hard with Ireland and Scotland. I think they're going to both trade for they're going to vie for third.
See, you're being very positive about Scotland, which is interesting because we haven't you haven't seen the my sheet.
I know, I know, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it to depress me.
Yeah. And whose do you think is going to be your standout? I will scroll.
Hmm. Yeah. Man, and so here's and honestly, I'm already backing myself up with what I said about the Celtic Challenge. I am familiar with almost all of these new players, which is not the case for all of these
Yeah,
teams.
I was looking earlier and I was like, Jemima Adams-Verling is not capped? Like what?
Yeah, I'm surprised. I it
Yeah,
didn't occur to me that Neve Gallagher wasn't capped.
yeah.
Um, so Neve Gallagher is one name that just jumps out to me, but he's apparently uncapped. Um,
I think what's
otherwise, oh, sorry, go on.
sorry. I was just going to say with Neve Gallagher, the thing that excites me about that is that Ireland have gone for so long without a proper fullback.
That was what I was thinking, and like that's absolutely not only is it up her alley, like it's in her wheelhouse anyway. It's what she's actually been doing for the past 12 months, which
More
is
than
not
like
always the case.
that's actually, she is a fullback by trade. Like they've
That's what I
moved
mean, is that's not always the case.
no, and like whereas Stacey Flood like moved there from fly half, but
Yeah,
she's still really a fly half.
absolutely. And
They've
we
tried
found out
wings
Ellie
back there.
Kildon lied about being a fullback. People
Yeah.
just lie about being a
Um,
fullback.
People lie about being a fullback all the time. It's a specialized position, and she's very,
It
very
is,
good at
but
it. And I
it
feel
is,
like
but
if you look at the squad, like
mm,
if you look here, they've got Move Daly at fullback. She's
right.
the only one in these two squads. You move it here, they've got three new ones. That's clearly something that they know they need to
That they
work
know is a
on.
weakness, and it
Yeah.
absolutely is. And year over year for the past few, certainly last line defense has been Ireland has had finishing problems on both ends,
Mm.
so
Yeah.
understandable. So my answer is maybe Neve Gallagher or a really easy one for me. So unfortunately, this one is almost edging on the name recognition and knowing they'll do good anyway, but I don't care, and it's Dorothy Wall, only because she's had a fantastic season at Exeter.
Yeah. I am gonna go with Beth Booty Timer. Um, I
Fantastic. I
I
really
really
enjoy
want
watching
her.
her. I'm stoked.
She was
I was gonna say
so
good, really
good.
great vibes. Yeah,
Really great vibes.
really great
Do you know
vibes.
what? When she cut her hair and went from the
Broke
long
the Hattie internet.
ponytail and went to the little boy cut,
Uh-huh.
she's just improved dramatically on the pitch.
Rocket it up in your estimation.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I'm really excited to see her play. Um,
I love that, and I love that we're getting we should do Women's Rugby Treehouse Queer Theory Hour. No, I
she
do
did.
love that we
She
are.
became herself and she
I
became
know,
better
and
on the pitch.
we're seeing that in several Celtic teams was where I was going to go with that. As I love that we're doing that now.
Yeah.
We're
Um,
taking it back.
we'll move on to Italy.
Hmm.
Boom, boom, boom.
Your guess
This
is as good as mine.
again, I had to do a bit of guessing here. Um, the only person I can actually say is injured, and I'm saying this because I saw her in real life and she was wearing a neck
Mm.
brace,
Oh,
was Sarah Say.
Sarah Sai, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
And unfortunately, we all saw the injury too.
yeah. And I saw her like 2 months later and she was in a
Yep,
neck brace. So,
it was horrifying.
um,
I remember because Kate Zach was incredibly upset because they're very close at
yeah.
Trailfinders.
Um, there are a couple of people who've been left out of this squad who are not starters. Franch Panning and obviously Rigoni are the two
And
big
Kapamaji.
and Kappa are the big ones to me
Yep.
that stand out from here where I'm like, what? However, Rigoni,
Yeah, I mean that's
because
got to be the question on everybody's mind.
it's well, everybody, all of the journalists are absolutely heartbroken because she was the only player that they knew, and she's not in the squad anymore. In fact,
We do joke about that about how like every time well no we've in podcasts past and in posts past we have pointed out that like literally it's just because it's the only person you know.
yeah,
Grow up.
and even then they still get her name wrong and call her
Oh,
Rigatoni
always.
sometimes. Yeah,
Well,
um, so I think I may have said either in the World Cup or in the Six Nations last year that I felt she wasn't really fitting with the rest of the backline.
yeah,
Um,
you did. That's fair.
yeah. And then I was watching Squidge earlier today, and I think it was Will made a very, very good point that pre-professionalism, she was the standout player. she was head and tail above everybody else. She did all this mad shit. She was the Maverick. She was excellent player. And then the new group kind of came through, the young guns came through,
Yeah.
the professionalism hit, and she stagnated, whereas everybody else improved.
And that's what happened. And like it sucks and and we just spent a whole lot of time talking about Skaz. Like there are absolutely older players that we love and we don't want to see leave, but sometimes you don't get to pick
And
when
I
you go.
think what we saw in the Six Nations and in the World Cup as well, I was watching some highlights the other day, and she was doing mad shit to try and make it pay off, but it clearly wasn't part of the game plan. And I could see as a coach how that would be really, really frustrating in that you put
Yeah,
faith in a player and they go against you. And so I can kind of see why she's been left out of the squad when you actually like think about it.
exactly. And our little chat of other rugby podcasters were talking about it first when I was first forming my opinions on this. And like, yeah, my knee-jerk reaction was the same as pretty much everybody else's, which was like, what are you thinking? And the more I think about it, and all the points you just made are very sound. Um, and the more I think about it, the risk isn't worth it to keep her in, especially when um she wants to go off and do Ellie Kildun stuff. And like even people who
I,
play with
I
Ellie sometimes get frustrated because like being unpredictable is great if it works. If it doesn't work, everybody is kind of mad at you.
mm,
And I get that. And when you are and so since Italy has moved into this professionalism stage, you don't want even if they are a senior person who provides a lot of I my thing is like I do feel that she provides a lot for the team morale wise.
mm,
But if it's something that could mess with the next iteration of this squad, that obviously this squad is what they're going to want to cement and grow. Yeah, honestly,
yeah.
if you can't play with the new vision, you have to go, not the new vision.
Yeah. It really sucks because I love her as a player and she's
Yeah, it brings a lot of personality to the field, and I think that that was my original knee-jerk reaction was more like I feel like you'll feel like you're missing something,
mm.
but
But the thing is that the Italian backline is incredible. And I actually think,
that's the thing.
you know, Dinka's been playing 13.
Mm,
Dinka is incredible. Like, I think I'm really, really excited to see them. I think we're going to see a very different, a similar backline to what we saw at the against Wales
absolutely.
last year, but a little bit more developed. I think we're going to see Batonci at scrum half. I think she's probably more
Mhm,
likely. Why am I
absolutely.
doing this hand action whilst talking about Italy? It's not on purpose, I promise. Um, I think we're probably going to see a bit more of Batonci. I think Stefan, I think, could maybe take a step back. She's like mid-30s now. She's not going to make the
I
next World Cup.
I think Batonchi is. I think
Uh,
she is the next. Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
So
But
I'm really,
man,
really excited. Like when you look at
now
the
that you
backline,
mention
you're
it,
like,
that back. I was gonna say now that you mention it, and now that I'm looking at it, well,
it's a
because of
mad
the way that Italy.
backline.
I was gonna say because of the way that Italy puts out their lineups and like teases stuff and everything. I didn't see like the full picture until just now, and like looking at it full picture, like first of all, I can very easily pick a back line out of this that I would be happy to be the coach of. Um, and that like I think would work together really well.
Like you could have a you could
Nothing looks like worrying to me.
if you wanted like already capped players without bringing in any of the new ones, it's
That
already
was
like probably a fair
that was
choice.
what I meant.
Like
Is that like if you go in only knowing names that you've seen before, still that's a sick line. No,
yeah, like
a
you
back line of Madia, um, let's see,
so I,
Dinka and Solari. Sure, why not? Granzato, Muzo, and Austini done.
see I was gonna say 9 to 15, Batonci,
Uh,
Stefanini at 10, then Medea at 12, Dinker at
yeah,
13, and then some combination of Granzotto, Muzzo, and Ostuni Minizzi.
that's fine. Who's kicking?
YOLO.
That's why I have Solarian. That's why I have Solarian. YOLO. Batonchi is kicking. Batonchi does
Medea.
kick.
Medea
No,
kicks.
Batonchi. Medea kicks. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably better. They did let Batanchi take a
Do
conversion
you
though.
know who should kick? Oh, they did. They did. I think we just let Giordano kick or Tarani. That'd be fun.
It
Two
would be
big,
fun. No, I'm thinking of more funny things as I'm looking.
yeah.
Um,
The big loss I do find for retirement is Locatelli. She's been one of my favorite
yeah.
players, and I think
Well,
to
and I love Sarah Tanesi for the vibes, but
Tunasi for the vice, but Locatelli, I
uh,
was like,
yeah,
I
Locatelli
was
is
reminded
Locatelli
of
is
it
also a
earlier, and I was
surprise.
like, this is a big one. So yeah.
Hmm.
So where do you think Italy are going to come,
It's a
and
really good question.
who's going to be your standout?
I really wish I knew how the squad was feeling. Um, not to go into like massive stereotypes, but like yes, Italy is a very emotional team. Um, that said, I guess this is where I kind of unload on everybody else because this like everything else kind of falls around it. I don't see them beating Ireland. We have to talk about Scotland. I do think they'll beat Wales. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Not bottom table, maybe fourth or fifth, maybe.
I
Um,
think they could
go
do
on.
something weird.
And so that's the thing, and that's why I'm like, I'm not ready to just be like, oh, second to last.
See, the thing is,
Because they've done inspired stuff before.
I could see them, and I don't want this to happen. Let me just say this: I don't want it to happen because it then England win the Six Nations.
Yeah,
France are notoriously bad in their first game.
I
The
know.
French team we've already seen is a bit weird. They've got a new
And
coach.
and the captain came out and like one of the major statements she has made is that she's like, we know that we're a one half team and we can't do it again.
And
Which is great because I'm glad that they had the self-awareness. That was what I wanted them to say. But oh yeah, I
I
really
would,
hope
I'm going
I
to
really hope the
sneeze.
new
I'm
coach.
very sorry. Um, it's gone. Um, I, I would, I honestly would not be that surprised if Italy beat France on the opening weekend, but I could also then see them losing to like Wales or Scotland.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be crazy. That'd be sick, to be honest. That would be wild. And I will be sad if ultimately our Six Nations isn't as fun as the men's was because like that's my number one thing is like women's Six Nations is way more fun.
I think that the
But
tries
the
and the
men's Six
games are
Nations
better.
was fantastic. I mean, even I can admit it. It was fantastic this year. Um, a lot of fun, and I would love it if the shakeup was Italy beating France. I'm sad because now I actually have friends who support France, but that would be a very Six Nations shakeup for us. So absolutely, I'm in. As for
Forza,
who to, pardon?
Forza.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I would be I would be crucified by several of my dear friends if I didn't say, obviously, look out for Alia Batanchi. I do think that she is probably being primed into being the next starting scrum half. I think that's not a question anymore.
Mm.
But yeah, obviously I'm excited to see what's happening there. In terms of maybe like breakout, unfortunately, we don't know a lot of these new people. And because Italy doesn't televise any of their domestic competitions,
Well,
Italy,
they some of the thing was on YouTube, but I have to be honest, I did watch like one or two of the games and they were really badly shot.
they were probably really badly shot. And if there is commentary, which I doubt, it's
It's all
probably in
in
Italian.
Italian, yeah,
Yeah.
which I don't speak.
Which is hard. Which is hard.
I
And you know, and this isn't, and by the way, this isn't to let somewhere like France off the hook. France is also incredible considering how high quality their actually own is. It's really disheartening. But anyway, all of that said, unfortunately, I just am not that familiar with the younger players. That's on me, but it's also incredibly hard to get information, especially in English. So I mean, it's my podcast. I can just be a little turd if I want. Bikini. I fucking love her. She's one of my favorite hookers. I really like watching her. I think she in the Six Nations is probably, and this this will get me hate from my friend who is on this podcast with me right now. I do think she's my second favorite hooker in the Six Nations behind Lana Skeldon.
So she's a hooker that you like looking at.
I like watching that hooker do her job. Yes,
Mm.
I
Um,
like watching.
I'm going to be a absolute rugby.
Nas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
From what I have watched of I want to call it the Serie A, but I don't
it
know if
is
that's right.
Syria, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Um, there is one ginormous second row
I
who,
love a ginormous second row. Oh, hell yeah, I'm in.
and that is Elettra Constantini.
Costantini.
Constantini.
Okay.
She's ginormous,
Fantastic name, by the way.
amazing. I'm quite excited to watch her just because she looks massive in domestic Italian
Wales,
competition, and then I'm
Wales,
like, what
Wales,
is she
Italy is
actually
going to be
gonna?
sick with her versus Allow.
Very, from what I've seen, very similar. And I was it her? It might have been her that got like player of the match in the final or something. So
Hell yeah.
yeah,
I'm excited. I didn't
yeah.
know that. That is
Or
actually
it
getting
might
me
have
riled
been
up.
it might have been Margarita Tonatelli. Anyway, one
Okay.
of those two that it was.
Fantastic.
Moving
I'm
on. We
definitely gonna look
have
into
a
that.
team that you are very excited about and one that
I
I
guess
think are
I
going to
will.
stink.
Yeah, now I'm not. I and okay. Well. Also, before we even begin, I will also say, I I use them as a counterpoint because I know that when I talk about Wales in general, I go Wales heavy, and I do believe that this is the rivalry of the Women's Six Nations. I will also say, like going into it, I fully understand that they are having a full-blown injury crisis. Like they are. So yeah, go on. There it is. The four injuries you
So
don't want to fucking see.
out and young, Sarah Bonner, Eva Gallagher, Lisa Thompson.
Great. Great. Four of the players that they rely on the most.
Uh, Molly Wright and Adele Ferry just seem to be not picked.
Yeah, I think they're fringe for now.
Yeah. Then we've got five retirements, which is a record. And some of them are quite big. Christine Bilal, Lisa Cockburn, Jade Conkle / Jade Conkle Roberts, Katie Mattinson, and Beth Blacklock.
Yeah, I mean, losing CB and Ann Young is a disaster. Um, I mean, I cannot overstate.
And
Ann Young is a name that people don't hear a lot. I am a big fan. I'm a front row fan anyway. But I am a really big Ann Young fan. I think that she's developing really well. I understand that like it's harder to be a big star. It's not everybody can be Sarah Byrne. But she's an absolute workhorse. I am a huge fan.
I will
Go
also
on.
say, uh, Ellis Martin is included in the squad. She was named in the
Mhm.
squad. She's not out as injured. She has not played for Loughborough Lightning all season. She
No.
has been out injured. I saw her like 6 weeks ago on crutches.
Yeah.
She's included in the squad.
So what's crazy about that, like, that worries me. They did this to her
So
already, by the way.
yeah, and
They
then
did
you've
this to
got
her last time.
Lana Skeldon, who has been out with injury and only like kind of recently returned, I think. And then
Yes.
you've got two uncapped hookers.
Yeah.
And that's
Ronald,
going
yeah.
with you then have six props,
Mhm.
three of whom are uncapped, and one wasn't even included in the original squad.
Yeah. Yeah. So Scotland is another situation where, oh, excuse me, where we do know a good bit about several of these new caps. We've seen many of them perform. Um, Not for nothing, we do have a few in the in category that we didn't have before, which are making it a little bit better. Um, yeah.
I
Really not
am
worried. So I'm really not worried about Lana because I've been watching her at Bear. I watch her closely at Bears, and she is also my favorite in the international game right now. Um, but if anything happens to Lana, they're fucked. It'll be
they are,
Ronald. It'll be
yeah.
Ronald.
Um, and also I'm pretty sure Sarah Bonner is the line out caller.
Yeah, usually she is, but Lou Mack knows how as well.
Yeah. Um, so that's all quite concerning. So we don't get too down.
Mhm.
Very excited about Holland Bogan.
I was just gonna say, I hope we do
Yeah.
get to touch on Holland Bogan. I'm so excited she's gonna get
Um,
capped.
Again, Hannah Walker in the
Hmm.
same category as Beth Booty Timer, in that she's been in every squad but not capped. I also forgot that Chloe Rowley had not retired.
Yeah, me too. She is just in France,
Yeah,
living her best life. I think she's on a life journey. She doesn't post anymore.
yeah,
I think she is a lot like Kira Bevan, where she's just like, I'm doing me now,
yeah.
and we're not gonna wild out anymore.
Live, laugh, love. Um, Gemma Bell, I'm also very excited about because I
Yeah,
want her to play France.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I am slightly concerned. This is a lot of in, this is a lot of out, this is some returning. We also had quite a few players who returned for the World Cup who didn't play in the Women's Six Nations. There's a
yeah.
lot of churn. Johan Cunningham is nearby.
Oh my God. I really don't think. And you talked me down about uh Loughborough sending their guy to America to get some more study experience, and you were like, it's not that deep. And Yoan Cunningham, first of all, I think he's just a weak man. I don't think that he's evil. And I don't think that he's capable of, like, the only reason that he did the horrible things that he did is because he was too weak to say no. It wasn't even his plan. So, on the other hand, they have Seone Fukafuka, who was beloved at USA, and people only have good things to say. And he's actually a man from women's rugby, which is awesome. But you're right. But you're right. As I think about it more, I think maybe I am too mad at Wales, and perhaps that is making me too nice to Scotland.
I think this is a concerning squad to me.
Absolutely. I think it is concerning. I think what's more concerning to me is that like it didn't really occur to me until now that I'm seeing it. Um, I mean, we say it all the time, like you cannot be a team that relies on one player or even two players or three players. But
And
Evie Gallagher is a part of every single game plan. Sarah Bonner is a member of most of the game plans. Lisa Thompson is one of the most prolific scorers for the country. Um,
and leadership as well. Like
Absolutely leadership. I mean, so Jade is gone, CB is gone. Those are two people who did a lot of morale and kind of player leadership. Um,
and
yeah,
also
I
I
mean,
will say like you've got
yeah,
yes, there are quite a few Celtic Challenge players in here. The
that they didn't
two
do well.
the Scottish Celtic
That was where you
Challenge
were going, I
sides
know.
do stink.
Yeah.
Um
Um,
and here's the thing.
I think it's a
I am
little
saying
rich from two Wales fans.
yeah, it's true. I I really, really am saying this out of love because I want them to do well. I don't want this to be the case. This honestly, like, I would feel bad if I was a Scotland fan. I feel bad for all of
Yeah.
our Scottish friends. This is like, I feel like if this was a men's team, it would be like all over the papers about
They
how,
would they would
about
be
the
calling it
situation
they'd be
that they're
calling it a
in.
crisis. Yeah. They would be calling it a crisis. You're right. It was why I soft launched with calling it an injury crisis up
Like,
front
they've got
because it is.
nine players from the World Cup are
Yeah.
either injured or retired.
Or retired. Yep. No, you're absolutely right. If you're right, actually, if this were Ireland and they had this problem, I would feel less worried than I
Mm.
do for Scotland. You're absolutely right. Um, I mean, the good news, and I say good with an asterisk, is that like if there is a time to blood a bunch of new people, and to probably not do amazingly in the Six Nations, this is the time in the World Cup cycle that you would want to do it. Um, Ideally, you never do it, but
Yeah, I think it's just because they've got like even if you look at some of their players who are in, um, they are, you've got Ellis Martin who, as I said, has been out injured. You've got Lana Skeldon who is injury
out injured.
prone.
Yep.
You have got
Elliot Clark, who is also injury prone.
yeah, Rachel McLaughlin who is a little bit injury prone. You've got Alex Stewart who is dealing with diabetes and celiac disease, and that's still very new. You've got Evie Wills, who is very injury prone. Like
Mm. Hmm.
this is Emma
That I
Wassell.
mean, I think. Well, I also think, and I am doing a lot of self-reflecting, like in real time. So maybe some of these reflections on myself are rough. But if you could scroll down a little bit, just so I can see it again, I think. I think a lot of my of my optimism comes from perhaps what is now an archaic fawning over their back line.
Mm.
Looking at this right now, like that's still really good. I'm
It's a
sorry,
good
man.
backline. I think,
That's a sick back line. But a huge problem with rugby or a huge challenge in rugby is getting the ball to them. And if you can't get the ball to them, it doesn't matter.
yeah, I think that's it. It's like their problem primarily is in their forwards,
Is unfortunately
and
it's in the
their
pack. Absolutely.
forwards were
That was
were
where I was gonna go.
pretty bare cupboards anyway. So
Yeah, it was. And a lot of, and so this is why I'm really interested to see what Sione does with them because his game vision is very different than what Scotland is coming from. And in some ways, like I'm kind of excited because he does play primarily Australian rugby, and then he brought Australian rugby to America, which really I think. And I was reading a piece from Tess Fury that made me really think about this. But whenever a new coach comes, like you take pieces of where they've been before. I, unfortunately, like I don't feel like forwards is his favorite thing to fix. But I don't know.
mm.
New ideas.
Where do you
Ugh,
think Scotland are going to come, and who
yeah.
do you think is going to be your standout?
Well, I was going to say that I think they're going to be vying for third and fourth. I'm still going to say that only because there's only six total, and I still don't have a ton of faith in some other teams. But that is where I would say, and I am amending my original statements that I had made earlier in the pod. Um, hmm. Well, uh, she's back after a long time away and has been having an incredible time at Bears. So I'm going to say Meryl Smith, only because it's a name that you haven't heard a lot recently because of the injuries, but is incredible. She is capped, so it's not like a huge new name. The huge new name that I would say to look out for, that I think you're also going to say as well, would be Holland Bogan. Hannah Walker as well. Hannah Walker, it's just kind of crazy that she isn't already
Yeah.
capped. I think she's one of the ones that we were talking about that it's just a freak accident that she wasn't,
Mm,
that it didn't work out.
mm.
Um, but yeah, Holland Bogan or maybe Katie Ainsworth. But yeah, I mean, a lot of promise
I do think that Scotland's entire campaign could hinge on the weekend and what happens
this
against
weekend.
Wales.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to impress upon our group of friends that are and to all of you who are perhaps newer to rugby or are too newer to the women's game. Um they always do this. They always do this. Women's Six Nations will always put Scotland and Wales first because it is the vibe setter. Um I am so fucking worried, dude. Let's go right on to Wales because I think it's going to be
Ugh.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we said all this about Scotland, but let's be honest. Let's go see Wales
Right.
because
Can I, as a Wales fan, right?
yeah,
Can I
yeah.
say I am not as concerned about this as a lot of people seem to be. And I don't know whether I've just lost my mind or whether
I
people
think
are. I think the overall vibes around Welsh rugby are so
are so
bad
rancid. Yeah.
that
I
it's
think
making
okay,
people look at the team and go, "That's shit." I don't
and I'm
think
already
it
mad.
is. There's
Okay, so you're right. You're right. It's not that bad. Um I think it is a little bit colored by one thing, and I think it's colored by the amount of time you have spent making Celtic Challenge merch. That you're just like they have to succeed. Like I know you're really like some of these potential new caps you're really excited about, and I'm like, girl, I think you like them as people. Like I don't know about all that. Um,
it, I think Stella Orin is going to be breakout player of the year.
I know
Well,
you
breakout
do.
player.
I know
Yeah.
you do. And friend of the pod, Sorrel, thinks that Aaliyah Batanchi is. And you know what? Both of you are having a lot of fun.
Well, Batonchi can't be because she played in the last calendar year, so
Can't be player of the year,
she
player of the
can't be
tournament.
breakout player of the year.
Oh, yes, because breakout player of the year always ends up going to a prop from Wales.
Yeah. Um,
I do. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, though. Fave of the pod, Stella Oren. So big fans. I hope you're listening, or I hope one of your parents is because they love my friend Hattie.
so that's where we're at. Obviously, big news. Alex Calendar is out.
Yeah,
Nell Metcalf is out. Al
yeah,
Cal being out is more of a
is a big deal.
concern than Nell
Yeah,
Metcalf. Having said that, we played a lot of rugby last year without Alex Calendar.
yes,
Um,
we did.
Obviously, she improved the
And
team. Don't get me wrong,
it
she improved the team.
yes, and it doesn't hurt that Alicia's back.
Yeah, I don't. I think Alicia's going to be a bench option. I don't.
Yes,
It would be
absolutely.
ridiculous
I,
to throw
it.
her in,
I was
but
gonna say it would be irresponsible not to.
yeah. Having said that, back row is where we have absolute depth anyway. So it's just not.
Yeah,
It's not the only thing I'm like
it's
maybe a
just
bit.
it's just not a problem area.
Yeah, it's not a problem. The only thing I'm like maybe a bit concerned in is that Alcal is our only real out and out seven.
Well,
Um,
that was where I was going is that like we know Alicia can. It's not
Alicia
her
can,
favorite.
Kate Williams can. Um,
Bethan can.
Bethan usually does, but I don't think she's in form.
No, that's why I was emphatic
Yeah.
on the can because after watching with Gloucester, like I would really prefer her mostly at 8.
I so my back row, if I had to pick it,
Oh no, I want Georgia at 8. No, I want
would
Georgia at
be
8, not
Bryony
Bethan.
at 6,
Yeah.
Kate at 7, and Georgia at 8, and then
Yes.
Alicia off
That's
the
all for
bench.
me. I was gonna say that's all for me, and then once Alicia is back, Alicia would take Bryony's place. Yeah.
Yeah. Thing is, I actually think Bryony brings a lot of the same energy that Alcal does.
Yes, absolutely. Bryony brings also physicality, I would say, even more than Alcal, to be honest, to both a good and bad extent.
Yeah, Bryony
The
does not care about her own
I was
body.
gonna say the con side with Bryony is that she often acts before thinking.
She's got getting better.
Absolutely. I think that one of her work areas is on her patience.
Mm.
A lot of and a lot of the silly mistakes that she has made, she's not like a handling error person. She's not an accidental knock-on person. She is a penalty draw. So is
I was
Alcal.
gonna say
That is
her Bryony's mistakes are putting her shoulder in somebody's face
yes. Yes. And I mean,
because she
so
wants to make that tackle so bad that
I
she
was gonna say
forgets
the
to
thing
drop
is
her height.
the problem is right. So Bryony's problem is twofold. It's that and that she comes from league, so it's not going to be something she's thinking about naturally. And then also she is very, very, very powerful, like explosively powerful, and that's great, and that is what you want, especially from your 6. But you need more patience. Like you need to be willing to wait. Because when you act too quickly is how you make either a stupid mistake or you give it away, which is difficult. But that said, like I can't really think of anybody who compares in the forwards in terms of like energizer bunniness.
Yeah,
I mean, other than Alco.
yeah. So I'm not.
So yeah.
People are making out like it's the worst disaster in the world that Alcal is out.
Yeah, I agree that it's not.
It's not.
Okay. And I also agree that looking at this right now, that this whole team is
Yeah,
not a worry. No, no. So I understand that we were all thrilled that Sean came. Absolutely. I think somebody needs to be not completely sold, so I'll be that person. I'm just not completely sold yet.
I think I feel like he got thrown in at the worst time
Yeah.
possible, and he was
And
given
that's absolutely a possibility.
yeah, and I think he was given the shit end of the stick. He was given a squad that had no morale 5 days before his first game and a
Yeah,
backroom
that
staff that he hadn't picked. I feel like this to me is a clean slate, and I'm excited to see what he does. Um, I'm really glad he's picked a really different squad. We've got 9 new
me too.
caps,
Me
and
too. I am
whilst this
glad with that.
is 9 new caps, like you've got
But
Jenna De Vera, who
I
is
was gonna say who Jenna De Vera is practically capped.
yeah.
Like it's just in name only.
You've got Nikita Prothero, who again
I
well
don't mind. Thank you.
experienced.
Thank you. I don't care if you're English. I
Yeah,
don't care.
you've got Kendall Warby, who is like a
I don't care
PWR
if you're English.
stalwart.
I know. It's like
Um,
I don't care.
you've got Saren Singleton, who is
Who's
one
been
of the
having a really great game.
Just
or a
stick her
great,
in.
yeah.
Like, just
Yeah,
stick her in.
she's a bit plug and play. Like it's really honestly, I feel more optimistic about the Welsh backs than I have in a really long time.
I and this is where we move on to my next point.
Yeah.
I think this could be the end of the road for Jazz Joyce. I think Jazz
Yeah,
Joyce is not a given starter. I think
I think not. And you know what? And this is tinfoil hat. First of all, obviously, WRU would never tell my ass this, but this is just kind of what I witness. And honestly, I'm kind of thinking it for Abby Ward too. But we almost know because, and by the way, this is why you should be checking socials. I sent this link. It was only posted today, and you've been very busy on what I'm looking at right now, so I'm not sure if you saw it. But did you watch? WRU posted the first episode of Still a Force, I think it's called.
the thing with the baby and the leg press.
Baby and the leg press. Thank you. So you only read what I said. It's okay. That is what happened. But in that episode of Still a Force, I think the theme of this year, it was herstory a few years ago. Now I think the theme is force of nature. That's what all the advertising has been from the WRU, and they are making a documentary a la Bump in the Road, which was Abby Ward's documentary made by Rugby Pass. Crazy that they're not doing it for Jazz, but that's crazy. In that episode, one of the things that they say the most and that they even like highlighted as like a little tearaway clip is that they do want another baby and Jazz is carrying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just think
it's
with
they're doing it.
Jazz, it's very similar to Rigoni, where she was the standout for so long. She was our only professional player for so long. She was
Right.
playing
And
sevens, she was
and
playing 15s. I
teams
think
teams have new eras. It's
it's a
just
new
how it
era.
goes.
I think, she's so sevens brain that she wants to do everything herself, and she ends
Yes.
up, she doesn't
She
pass.
she is also, I was gonna say, she is also one of the few crossover. Okay, so two things. She is a true crossover, but she is also one of the very few true crossovers who is like, I don't like one of the codes. And she says it all the time. She does not like 15s. It's not what she wants to play. She is barely playing at Bears. I think she's very focused on her son, and I think if she is going longer, it's for sevens. I also think, for me personally, triple Olympian is like a fine time to leave.
I think that's enough, babe.
I mean, your wife. Okay, so here's the thing, and then the third piece of that puzzle is because I say this as married woman to married woman. You don't get to you don't get to be the star of your wedding or the star of your marriage all the time. Your wife probably does want to finish her career. She's a little bit younger than you. She hasn't torn her body to shreds playing sevens. Yeah, I think it's very natural to admit or to imagine that Jazz is probably going to step aside, or at least from 15s.
Or will be told to step aside. I don't think.
I don't see a world in which they do that. I think
Well, this is the thing.
so.
I really
I
want
say it
Sean Ling
cynically. I say it
to say,
cynically.
this is,
Yeah,
you're
I
not the best thing
agree.
for the team anymore.
I agree, and I think it will never happen. Not because of Sean at all, and not even because of the team necessarily. I could absolutely see this being a WRU miscalculation, just because WRU is so likely in general to make a miscalculation. I could see the miscalculation in this case being that they're like, but everybody loves her so much. This is our and WRU is so like like they're so broke boy that like they might be stupid enough to think that the only thing that will bring people to the stadium is jazz. I think that I don't know. Honestly, I
Yeah, it is
what I'm
really,
the most mad about is not the Wales women themselves. It is the organization that runs them.
forever and always, worst run
Forever and
union.
always. Worst run
Um,
union and yeah,
Also,
that's the only way
please
I can
let
see
me
it.
into your stadium at the weekend. Um, with
I
that,
don't think they're going to turn anybody away. They can't get people to come.
right, can I complain about something for a second?
Please.
So I bought my ticket for the weekend. It was £7.50 because I got a student ticket, right? Would have been £15. They then charged me, right? It came up and it said £1 booking fee. And I was like, fine, whatever, right? Then they charged me £1 digital handling fee. What are you handling?
This would hit a lot harder if you were speaking to somebody from any other nation.
What are they handling?
It's probably like the fees for their server.
So anyway, I've been robbed of £2.
Robbed of £2. Let's go to PAC4 because I want to talk about how much my ticket cost.
I know. Julia told me, and I was like, that's more than where I'm staying for 2 days.
Correct.
Yep. Um, but yeah, so with that, with our lovely list,
Right, the two questions. So
two questions.
I feel better than before.
Mhm.
So I'm a little bit more optimistic. I
Hugh,
don't
if you're
think
watching this, can you clip this bit up? Thank
I'm
you.
gonna give it a pause. Mark,
So
I do think
we feel better than before about Wales, don't we, Julia?
we feel better than before about Wales. We've made some good points. For example, the team has less churn than many of the other Six Nations teams, surprisingly, which is not a situation that Wales is often in. We do have faith in Sean Lynn. I have more faith in him than I do other pieces of administration for this team. I think they're in the best position that they can be. We know that morale is up, which really could change a lot of things. We only because we have seen firsthand what can happen when it's that bad.
Mm.
So I don't want to sound too optimistic or too pessimistic. I don't think that they're going to win it. I don't think that they're going to beat France, but I think that everybody else is a possibility.
Including England?
I thought I said I don't think they're going to beat England, and I don't think they're going to
No,
beat France.
no, you just
Oh,
said
okay.
it.
England. Okay, England was a given. I don't think they're going to beat England. Um, it's really bad that like I think that that's just a given. Um, so that said, I'm trying to decide if I want to ruin it for you, and I take Stella, but that's not actually who I'm most excited about. I'm most excited about Jenna Devera and Savannah Picton-Powell because I am a Bears fan. I've seen them both play a lot, and I like them. And I think Jenna Devera specifically deserves absolutely everything good in the world because she is a genuine light in this game.
So I think a lot's going to hinge on the first weekend. I think if we can
Yes,
get a win against
absolutely.
Scotland, that really sets us up. I think that puts us in a good mind
Absolutely.
place. I think if we can play well against the three other teams and then have a really target Italy at the end, um, that would see us at like
That would
fourth or
be really great.
fifth.
Yeah, I'd be
Um,
happy with that.
yeah. We're in the rebuild. We are starting the rebuild.
Absolutely.
Last year was a write-off to me. We move on. I
It
am
it
very
just it really just happened to suck that the write-off year was a World Cup.
was a World Cup here,
Yeah, it just sucked.
yeah. I am very excited to see Stella Orin in camp. Her TikTok, her Instagram is hilarious. Um, and she's just a
I
good
mean,
egg.
I was gonna say you leave it to the front row, especially for your entertainment needs. You've got your Stella Orens,
Did
you've
you
got your
see
Maisie
her?
Davis.
Did you see Stella's video with the roast dinner that she posted like earlier today?
Oh, no, but I will when we're done.
It's very, very funny. Um,
Fantastic.
so I'm excited to see her. I'm excited to see Serin squared.
Yeah, absolutely.
Singleton and Lockwood. That's what I'm
Yeah,
excited for.
both.
When
Yeah,
they link up, it's mad. And I think
it's true. I was gonna say, and both play off each other really well, and both have individually been on a like really marked upward trajectory, which is really good. You really want to see that at
yeah.
that
And
stage
if
in
you
development.
don't know anything about that, but the Serens, they have basically grown up as rivals. They've were
Exactly.
rivals in
They're
like
always playing against each other.
Wales age grade. They were rivals for the 9 jersey. Singleton is so fast that she moved to the wing. And then they've obviously played together at 9 and 11 usually.
And everyone
Um,
says thank you.
and everyone says yes.
Cool.
Um, so with that, we have covered our Six Nations. We are going to move on and very quickly shout out if you want more in-depth stuff about Wales, you can listen to me on Rap. every Tuesday morning on the Rap channel. If you want more focused stuff on the Irish team, or if you want an American focus for PAC4, you can check out the Interpro Show or the Wall Street Journal on this channel. If you're watching on YouTube, if you are listening, just gonna have to search it, Bab. Um, yeah. With see, Lee tells me these things. I listen, Lee. I do. With that, we're going to move on to Australia. I will say, when it comes to Australia, Canada, New Zealand, USA, I have had to do a lot more guesswork.
Yeah.
Um, because obviously,
Not USA, but yes.
oh, no, not USA, because I had Julia. But with the other three, because their seasons haven't started yet,
Yeah.
you
No,
can't
absolutely.
like guess who is injured and who's just out.
And for Canada, we got lucky because half of them are in the PWR.
But then I was like, oh, this person has left the PWR and
Right. Where
they're
did she
just
go?
so are
Disappeared.
they retired? I don't know. We have a couple of the players that are out because they're playing sevens.
Yep.
We've got Lane Morgan, who is dead to me now because she's playing League. Ashley Masters, Laurie Kramer, don't know where they are. I think they're retired. I don't know.
Lori Kramer is playing for Hong
In
Kong
Hong Kong,
in Hong Kong with her long-term partner Charlie Jacoby, who is retired as
tired.
well, who we'll be talking about soon. Charlie Jacoby is currently the head coach for Hong Kong. Or
Yeah,
no,
so
she's the assistant coach for Hong Kong, the team, and then head coach for Hong Kong, the club team.
yeah, so I don't know about them. I've put them down as retired. I don't know if they are.
Oh, Lori is
Apologies.
not. Lori is in camp.
Well, she's not. She's not on the list.
That can't be right.
She's not on the official list.
That's crazy. Okay, I didn't notice that, and I have to look into that. That's crazy. I didn't
Yeah.
notice.
And this is
Okay.
something you will see when we go through these is that these squads are tiny. There are only 30
Yeah,
players. Which is why
these are
it
on
is
purpose. Yeah.
yeah, which is why it is wild. 10 of them weren't at the World Cup.
Hmm.
So you've got 20 returning.
I mean, you want, it's very different situations, but you want like a serious rebuild. It's going to be this Australia team. They also lost the best coach that they had in a long time.
They've got a interim coach, but he was the assistant coach.
Great. I have
So
no problem with that.
that's less, if you've got an interim coach and they don't know anybody, that's an issue. But he's stepping up,
Yeah.
so it's less of an issue. It is a There is a lot of change, especially
There's,
in
I
the
was gonna say that's a
backs.
lot. And for those who can see, the changes are all in yellow, but for those of you who can't see, they're all in yellow. Um,
Yeah, so all of the bright yellow is somebody who is uncapped, the green is somebody who is returning, and then the lighter yellow is somebody that has not played in every squad.
right.
Um, so there's a lot of change.
A
There's
lot
just
of
a
change.
lot of change.
And I mean, and I do just want to circle back only because, first of all, we, in case you haven't noticed, Australia is not in the Six Nations. We have moved on to Pacific Four. In the Pacific Four, thank you, Hattie, for reminding me. But in the Pacific Four, there is a. Oh no, we said that on air. I thought we said it before.
Did we, or did we say it before? Yeah, there's a
I
cap.
know there is a cap for PAC4, and it's
Yeah.
30. Yeah, which is
Well, no, it
insane. But
wasn't
that's
last year. Last year it was 34. Anyway,
I know that's what I thought.
which is wild. The one thing that I do find really interesting, I was looking up the players who have been left out of the squad. So you've got Caitlin Holes, you've got Annabelle Cody. These are the players who last year were brought up and everyone was making a really big deal about them being like 16, 17, 18.
Yes, but I'm very confused about why House isn't in,
She is
unless she's
lit
injured.
she's just young.
I understand that she's young, but
But this is what I find interesting is that he's not and Caitlin Irwin, I think, was Manu Maleka, all the
that's
ones who
fine.
were like
Real quick, wait, real
17,
quick.
18.
Are they not bringing a fullback?
No.
Huh. What? So, and I wouldn't say this about every team, and I'm not like saying this as like a cop out or whatever, but like, God, no, it's in 3 days. There has to be something wrong with this list. Not from you, from them, but like, you don't have a fullback.
Yeah. So anyway,
Okay.
the thing that I find interesting is they've left out the players who are super, super young. They're obviously missing a fullback. It's a very small squad. There's a lot of change. We've got interim coach. I find this all kind of wild. This is the weirdest
I
squad
mean,
to
I
me.
hate.
Out of all of them, this is the
I was gonna
weirdest.
say I hate to say it, but like I'm happy to see it. I think we're gonna beat Australia. I do.
I do worry about the game that they have against New Zealand because they don't have like one game. They have a few because they have the like
Well, they have
series.
their own. They have their
Yeah,
own series, but that's their own thing. Um,
I think they could get battered.
I know, me too. And now thinking about this, as I've mentioned last time, I will be at one of the, there are three Pacific 4 events here in the US. One is in Sacramento, which is on the other side of the country from me here in the DC area. There will be one in Kansas City, which is where I am going. That's going to be a double header. And then there is a single header, or just known as a match in Chicago, which I was thinking about going to, but my wife said one weekend is enough.
Yeah, and you
So
can't even go to Chicago and then watch a Sky game anymore. Because why would you go watch the Sky if Angel Reese isn't there?
I wouldn't. Gonna be led by fucking. Oh, what was the joke? Oh, well, the delivery doesn't work now that I don't remember. 34-year-old Courtney Vandersloot. Your number one player. Uh, Now I'm looking it up. Do you happen to have the Pacific 4 schedule? Oh, never mind, I have it.
Uh,
Um, oh, hell yeah. Okay, so yes, the game that I am going to is going to be USA versus Australia. I am very excited. Hell yeah. It's going to be the first match is Canada and New Zealand, and then the
good
second is
vibes.
USA Australia. It's going to be sick vibes. At the first purpose-built stadium for women's sports in America.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I just find this entire squad really weird. The other thing is obviously we've got nine uncapped players. The main difference between
Half the back line
Australia,
has never played international
the,
rugby.
the concerning thing to me is the difference between like you look at Wales and you're like nine uncapped players, right? One, it's a bigger squad. Two, all of
Yeah.
these players have been playing club rugby up until this weekend or 2 weekends ago, right?
And quote
Australia,
unquote, yeah.
Australia have not.
Super W hasn't started
It
yet.
hasn't started yet. Where have these people come from? Why have they been picked?
I mean, they have to be coming from age grade, just straight up.
Yeah, it's just wild.
And so the thing is like,
But they
this
don't.
is what's,
I don't think they have like an under 20s international side.
I think they do have a U21.
They have an A side.
Yeah.
I don't think they have a U side.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay. Yeah.
with what we've got, where do you think they're going to come in PAC 4? Do you know any of these people to say who's going to be the standout?
I know Piper Simons from Sevens.
Okay.
Lily Bone, I know. I think she like tore it up in Super W last season, and that's why I know the name. Um, I have heard the name Brooklyn Techie Joyce, but I really think that the only reason that it's stuck in my mind is because I was like, oh, a Joyce on the wing. Um,
Unfortunately, when
which,
I first read it, I thought it said teriyaki.
yep, Brooklyn Teriyaki. I'm always saying this. So
I've
that said,
really slagged off Australia, and I do
you really did. Like
apologize.
you had a vendetta. I kind of feel like bad. I love Australia. It's my like second favorite rugby country.
I mean, your country's wildlife is evil, and I am not holding that against you.
It sounds like you are.
But what the fuck is this? Good luck.
I really like the jump from the nature to your 15-a-side rugby team.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if we're being completely honest, like we know that Australia has put all of their eggs in the sevens basket. It's just what it is. That said, where I think they will fall, I was going to say I thought that they were going to come third. Now I think that there is a chance that they come fourth. Yeah, I think there's absolutely a chance.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep,
Uh, I think if I had to pick a player that I am excited to see, it would be Piper Duck, but I don't think
yep.
that's a particularly
Surprisingly, no,
wild choice. Yeah.
no, it's not.
Canada. We're going to quickly talk about the outs.
It's a lot.
Michaela Nelson, from what I can gather, injured and or taking time out of rugby. Not sure. Signed
Yeah,
to Trailfinders, hasn't played, so I'm assuming injured. Courtney O'Donnell, pregnant. That's going to be a big
Pregante.
baby. Her
It's gonna be a giant fucking baby. Her
her
hockey husband.
no, it's not hockey. He plays Canadian football,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, CFL.
and
That's right.
he makes Courtney O'Donnell look small. So
Good job. She's a second row, so fill in the blanks.
that's going to be a massive baby.
Yep.
Sarah Maud Chance is injured. I'm not sure what it is, and then Julia Shell will just light a flame.
To me, it doesn't exist. To me,
Yeah.
she's okay.
Yeah.
And she's back in my mind.
If we move into the players that are out, we've got Caroline Crossy, Olivia Apps, Alicia Corrigan, Fancy Muniz, Florence Simmons. They're all playing sevens.
All of them in sevens.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then we've got our retired players. Now I know that
We have no idea about half of these.
McKinley Hunt, Karen Paquin, definitely retired.
Yes, yes, I know
Yeah.
that.
Gillian Bogue, Olivia DeMerchant, Tyson Bookboom. I
Question?
think
I didn't
Dave.
even know. I didn't even know that Tyson didn't re-sign it. Trailfinders. Now that I'm thinking about it, didn't she retire?
I don't know.
I
I
feel
couldn't
like I
find
remember something. I
anything.
remember something because it was either you or friend of the pod, David, who made a joke about it has to be David. No offense, David. It has to be David who made the joke about no more boom.
She
So that has to
definitely
be
she didn't re-sign with Ealing, and they made a
right.
really big deal about it. And I think
And I
that's
think that
why we
might have
think
been.
she's retired because
Yeah.
it was such a big deal that she wasn't re-signing, and they were like she's
Yes.
returning to Canada. I'm just imagining these five are just like wandering around the Rockies.
I do love that you are confirming all of their worst hopes or all of their worst ideas that they're like everybody just thinks that we're the Rockies. I need so
Here's
listeners,
but
I tell Hattie this all the time. So wait, have you been to North America?
I've been to Florida.
Oh my God, how of all the places that's where you okay.
I know.
I could have sworn you had said you'd also been to DC. Okay, so that's first of all crazy.
My
Second of
granddad
all,
used to live in DC. He
the
used to teach,
racist one.
yeah, and they
Thank you.
also lived in Pennsylvania at one point as well.
I was doing the tour of where your friend Julia and her wife are from. Very
Well,
cool.
he was teaching at military academies. So Julia's favorite thing, indoctrinating the
I
youth.
mean, yes, and remarkably enough, that is how my mom came to be. Is both of her parents were Department of Defense teachers. They
Oh,
taught at yeah, they taught at American schools on bases. Pretty evil. So so with that said, I I can't really considering how I've been to your island a few times. Um, the size of this continent. I'd have to take a 6 hour flight to go to California. Um, the
can I
Rockies are
just
like a
say,
tiny part of Canada.
yeah, but the thing is, Tyson Bookboom's dad used to play for the Edmonton Oilers. DeMarchant,
Mhm.
Bogue, and Hunt, I think, are all from Alberta. I'm not just being a dick.
Karen Pecan left in the cold in Quebec.
She
Um,
can join in.
she can join it. She doesn't want to,
She
like
doesn't want to.
anybody else doesn't want to go. Oh,
I would really
our
enjoy
friend, if
going
you're
to
listening, I
Edmonton.
was gonna say if your friend, if our friend, I really hope. First of all, even if this friend is listening, they did not make it this far. But if so, uh, other than to see this friend, nobody wants to go to Alberta.
I mean, I do because I'd want to go see the Oilers.
Girl, you can see them play somewhere else. I
But
don't want to go. It's
if you
the
hadn't
closest.
gathered to the
You
fact that
love
I
red.
made this spreadsheet, I'm
You need
not.
to be tested. You need to get tested.
Yeah. So with that, they've had some changes. Uh,
Yep.
Buisa is in, returned from injury. Ashton Smith, Michaela Robinson. I have to be honest, I have no name recognition, but apparently they've been in teams
They
before.
they are from the university system,
Yes.
which
Then we've
actually
got,
is good in Canada.
which is actually good in Canada, yeah. Then we've got all of these players. I have to be honest, most of them I don't know where they play. I just got them down as forwards or backs. Chloe Daniels, she is with Bristol, but again, back. When they signed her, they were like fullback center,
Yes,
wing.
both.
Um,
Yep.
so I'm
I
excited for
genuinely
this
don't know any
team.
of those. Yeah, I'm
Um,
excited because like they're
but
always pulling out something.
do you know what? Uh, Kevin, Big Kev, could
Big
pull
Kev.
out.
Kevin.
Kev, Kevin, uh, Big Kev, could pull out a team that was
Kev
just,
Grant.
yeah, that was just Sophie de Goody and 29 random people. And I'd be like, yeah, they're going to win. I have faith.
Every time we try to tell everybody that you can't just win or lose with one player, and then we're like, but if it's Sophie de Goody, you
If
can.
it's Sophie de
Um,
Goody, yeah,
Sophie de Goody. So usually I would agree, except for that, like this team is one where I have the opposite problem, where I have too many players that I'm answering for my two questions, because there are several that I'm excited to see, both established and newer. Um,
can I give
unless
you a
you,
fun fact I learnt the other
yeah,
day?
please.
So Shana Semamata Taufa.
Oh boy,
I butchered that. I
you
apologize
sure did.
so bad. Um, did you know she has two older sisters who both play for Canada?
Do they have different last names?
I watched a video the other day and she said she had two older sisters who both played for Canada.
Oh, oh, but they're both retired.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
And she
My
said
cat
that
is
she
being a miss.
watched them growing up and that's why she wanted to play for
Oh,
Canada.
okay, that's extremely cool and also cute. And also, kind of almost Canadianish now.
Very Canadian,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, which is really fantastic. I wish that we had that kind of longevity already in America. Our God. Sorry, my
It's
cat is going
it's
insane.
it's
It's Smudge.
Smudge. It's Smudge is like Thistle cannot take over.
No, she can't. And so she's ripping apart a box and I can hear it, which is crazy because I have noise suppression on. Okay. All of that said, very cool about sisters. That's dope. Are we two questions?
Yes, please.
Awesome. Okay. So my answer is that I think that they will either win
Mhm.
or lose to New Zealand. I think they will probably win PAC4.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's feeling pretty good. Obviously, I am thrilled Asia's in. Who doesn't love Asia Hogan Rochester? Uh, who else I am excited for? Okay.
Sorry,
I oh,
Rug Boo
Sienna.
Boo, Asia Boo Boo is
Red
going
Boo Boo.
stateside.
I know, and when I meet them, I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fantastic.
Are
I'm
you
very
going to wear
excited.
glitter?
Um, no,
No.
no, because I can't get it off in time to like get on a plane,
Yeah,
and I
you
don't want
can.
to
You
be.
just need sellotape.
Does that work?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't want it on my body forever.
Just sellotape.
And also, oh wait, no, we're not playing Canada, so that's fine with me. Yeah, I might.
Huh.
I might. We'll see. Um, Other than that, I am very excited Pamphinapuisa is back. I would struggle to call her, or I would hesitate to call her a breakout because she has a silver medal. Um, but I think breakout in 15s, absolutely. And she is one of the very, very rare crossovers from sevens who plays forwards.
Mm.
And she had a phenomenal time at Bears. Really like immediately became a star. Became a starter also. Otherwise, yeah, that's who I'm excited about. And yeah, I think they're gonna win. How about you?
I am excited to see Brittany Castle. That's not as much of a
Yeah,
breakout, but I think she could maybe get the starting. She's generally been coming off the bench. I think she
yes,
could maybe move into the starting shirt.
I
I'm
think
excited to
so.
see what she does.
Absolutely, I
She
think
is
so.
incredibly dynamic, but an incredible scrummager. Um, so yeah.
Really, I was gonna say what I really like about her game is I'm really, it's not rare anymore, and I love that we're able to say this, but like a really, when I say physical, I don't mean big anymore, but I mean like you said it,
But
dynamic.
I
She's
think
physically
she's
dynamic as a prop, which is really exciting.
I been on her Instagram as an official investigator. And she lifts.
Yeah, yeah. I know the whole thing, and it's because women's rugby is so RFU centric, but like, I got your Sarah Byrne right here.
And this one is cool because she's got tattoos.
This one's cool.
Yeah.
She is cool. I completely agree. Also, being Canadian in general is just cool.
Yeah, it just makes you cooler. We are going on to Aotearoa, New Zealand. Um,
Fantastic.
we have got one injury.
Oh, I would also like to say, as I always do, and I'm sure that, first of all, she never knows that we do this. Second of all, I'm sure that if she knew, she'd love it. She would hate it. Really, if you want insight into the Black Ferns ahead of PAC4, obviously, go to Alice Silver. Go on.
All of my information today
Is from Alice. Yes, me too.
is from Alice. Yeah.
Everything is coming from Alice.
So,
Oh, to be fair, actually, we should also give friend of the us, Ella Ferguson. She has recently come out as working for New Zealand Rugby, which is funny, but is now happier to talk about team goings
yeah,
on and has started making videos again. So check that out too.
that's exciting. So, Leila Saleh is injured
Yeah,
ACL. Yeah.
yeah, it's nice. Yeah,
Amy Rule and Alana Bremner have signed weird contracts to the PWR, which meant they couldn't leave, apparently. Um, we've then just got sevens players.
yeah,
Yeah. Uh,
yeah.
Kate Hemwood, Kelly Brazier, and Portia Woodman-Wycliffe are retired.
Yeah. Um, It was, so I will say it was surprising to me that Braxton wasn't recalled considering the
She's got a funny contract.
fancy contract. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 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 but part of what we learned about that fancy weird contract is that like there is absolutely a carve out for 15s,
Hmm.
which usually you wouldn't expect for a sevens player. But
So, again, if you
who
want to know
knows?
more, go see
Oh,
our
listen to
friend.
somebody who knows.
Yeah. They've got 3 recalls.
Mhm. And they'll be very happy to get Amy Duplessis back.
Yeah, and Hannah King. I think,
Yeah,
missing out on the World Cup was big for her.
absolutely.
I'm not going to butcher your name. I
Nope.
really do apologize.
Let's
Um,
just say Vaipulu. Vaipulu.
Vipolo, yeah. And then we have got a bunch of new players. We've got 8 uncapped in the 30. There is churn.
And Renee Holmes is back for some reason. Oh no, Renee Holmes. I
She
was
was
thinking
all
Renee.
she
I was thinking a different Renee.
Yeah, Renee. Oh, you're thinking
I
Renee
was thinking Renee Woodman Wycliffe, but obviously she's not back.
uh no. So yeah, I think it's a squad that you expect. You always have
Yeah,
churn from New Zealand. I think this is
that was
less
what I was
churn
gonna
than we're
say.
used to from New
Is that
Zealand.
like this? I was dead on. I was just gonna say like honestly, I know what you would expect us to say considering what we said about some Six Nations teams. That doesn't apply here. It's a
No.
completely different story.
Um like to be honest, usually you're used to seeing the squad that the Black Ferns put out between World Cups. The backline is completely different to the one that plays in the World
Yeah.
Cup.
Mhm.
Like
And
Aisha Letienga
it is
and
again.
Maureen Paul are probably going to start on the wing. Paul might come in to 13, but you've got Renee Holmes at fullback. Like,
Yep. Yeah. It's the reliability that you would expect to see. This is another team that has a new coach, but it's one that I am absolutely not worried about. First of all, got the nod from Alice, and honestly, that carries a lot of weight with me.
I will say
But also,
in our
oh,
group
sorry,
chat, we did say we're withholding judgment until Alice
because
gives
it's
her
a no,
judgment, and then we
right.
will then form our opinion based on whatever Alice says.
That's right. And well, she did, and then she had the interview with Les Elder on their pod
Mhm.
about what their thoughts were, and it sounds like it's cautious optimism, which is very Kiwi, but very Kiwi, and also the in the direction of good rather than bad. So yeah,
Who, 2 questions? Or do you have more to say?
yes, no, no, no. Except for I could have sworn I read something about Chelsea Bremner being out, but I don't know more answers, so I'm just gonna skip it.
Are
Um,
you confused with Alana Bremner?
no, Chelsea
Ah,
Bremner because it was either pregnancy or an injury. Oh, Jesus. It's my cat. Uh, she's saying you're done. I'm not actually. I have important things to talk about next. I am most excited about. Wow, actually, this one's kind of hard. Um, I'm gonna be cheap, and it's no, I can't. I want to
I've
see
got
Ruahe.
mine.
I want to see
Yeah.
Ruahe, but obviously it's not a breakout.
Yeah, I don't think you can pick somebody that was nominated for World Player of the Year.
No, probably
No.
not. Or who is the captain of the Black Ferns? You're right.
Or who
You're
captained her club after being there for like 2 weeks.
yeah, due to being too severely loved.
Yeah. Um, my breakout is kind of a weird one, but it's going to be Aisha Letienga, who I think has been in. Well, first of all, I apologize. Second of all, her she's been a part of the squad for a long time. Right?
Yeah,
She goes
yeah.
in, she goes out. She has been pushed out for Portia Woodman-Whitcliffe, which it's Portia
Mm.
Woodman-Whitcliffe. When Caitlin
What
Vahakola
are you
came
gonna
on
do?
the scene, when Caitlin Vahakola came on the scene, she kind of got pushed out for that. When
Another one.
Braxton,
I was gonna say another one you can't say no to.
yeah, when Braxton came in, she got pushed out. But she was playing really, really well, had an ACL injury, was then fighting to come back. But you had new people, you had the one and only Portia Woodman-Whitcliffe come back. Um, I'm really excited because I think she's probably going to see quite a lot of game time.
Yeah,
And I think she is the
and
type of,
she'll be super ready to go after being right back from injury, like having gone over and then like
yeah.
immediately injured herself.
And the thing is, she's a proper New Zealand fullback, proper New Zealand winger,
Yeah,
in that
yeah.
she's not just fast, she's exceptionally powerful.
I was gonna
And
say
I
she's very, very powerful.
and I think she's the type of player that Australia, who tend to have, they have very like wafy wingers, and also to some extent, apart from Erica
They have very
Gilbali,
much they have very much from sevens.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think she could be lethal. But
yeah.
yeah, I'm excited for that. And then where do you think they're going to come?
First or second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that, we move on to Julia's most important and the biggest exception of them all, the person that has missed out completely. It's heartbreaking. Why would she be left out? So we do have two injuries. We have Captain America, Kate Zachary, has a broken face.
Whole
Uh,
broke face.
Girly Pops had to have an operation on her cheekbone. Uh, Gabby Cantorna has a broken ankle.
Yep.
Um, Playing against her girlfriend's team is when
Yes,
she did
which was
that.
very, yeah, exactly. So girlfriend had to leave the two opposing tens and go to the hospital together.
Uh, then we've got a couple of people who've been left out for various reasons. Some are away with seven, some are taking a break, some aren't playing rugby anymore. Then we've got our retirements. We've got a soft retirement with Chetaremba, who is now
Mhm.
coaching Harvard. Sure.
Not a bad gig.
We've got Katie Benson, who we think is retired, and then we've got two confirmed in
Well, Katie Benson is Chetta's assistant.
sure. Um,
They are both coaching at Harvard.
sure. Then we've got Charlie Kobe and Rachel Johnson, who we know.
We know
Well,
are retired. Yeah.
yeah. We've got
Yep.
Hope Cooper, so we could have double Hope in the front row coming in.
Gotta have hope.
Yep, gotta have hope. Um, we've then got again another load of forwards and backs without
So it's gonna
positions.
be crazy if Han Humphrey plays forward. But
Yeah,
sure.
I think she's gonna be like an open
It's
play
gotta be a
flanker.
flanker. It's gotta be
Yeah.
a flanker.
Um,
No, they're throwing her right in a prop.
um, so yeah, it's an interesting squad. We've got 10 uncapped players. Got two returning.
Mhm.
But one of them is blue, which is not. She was picked in the Rugby World Cup squad, got injured, and then so
Yes,
I don't really know if you count that. That's not
correct.
like a big one. Not a lot of churn here. One of the uncapped players is Hope, who was in the Rugby World Cup squad, just didn't play.
Mhm.
And
And
that's
she is, I believe she is one of the players playing in Ireland, right?
yes,
Yeah.
I believe so. But again, you've got like that's K Treads and Paige. That's a strong thing to
I mean,
beat.
I feel that the front row in general, right now in this era of USA Rugby, the front row is where we have
Yeah.
one of our most depth. Yeah.
The one thing I will say, there are three props in here. So
Hmm.
some of these have to be props.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would assume so, and I know one of the Woods is. I just don't remember which one. But yes, certainly there'll be props. I'm thrilled that there's not a lot of churn. I know, and we've really covered the whole spectrum of like whether it's good or bad to have high churn and what it does for you. I don't think that it is bad in this case. We've got a lot of new things happening at once for USA, all of which are exciting. We have Jack Hanratty in. He was a sevens coach in Canada. He is Irish, but he was a sevens coach in Canada.
But
Several
he was so good they gave him citizenship.
they gave him citizenship exactly because he was so good. They didn't want him to leave. Um,
And he did anyway.
what Right. And what I am most excited about, and I have mentioned this on Wall Street Journal if you are a crossover listener, um, is when Jack Hanratty was announced, several USA players. Now, of course, if you know USA Sevens players, like it's a very jovial bunch. Like they're very funny, they joke around a lot. But several of them said, joking or not, they were like, I would come back if Jack is the new coach. I would come back to 15s. Now, I don't want that to happen, and I think that it was something that you say when you're excited, not like I'm
Mm.
actually going to do it. But that cosign gives me hope, especially because sometimes we get coaches that maybe you're kind of like, who the fuck? So that is
You
making
do
me,
unfortunately sometimes get the people that just couldn't get a job elsewhere, which doesn't seem to be what's happening this time around because you've got Jack and you've got Lou Meadows.
yes, we've got Lou Meadows. Um, to be fair, we had Sione, but like I think the Sione was the first time that they were just like, oh, okay, we'll like actually be serious about this,
Mm.
and it worked. So good. Um, Much more importantly than all of that, and I can't believe that she thought it was funny to just not put it on, not give her the C.
Oh yeah, this would have been funnier if I'd spelt it right the first time. There we go.
Why is she Welsh?
Why not?
Uh, yes. So, I really wish that you hadn't done this right now. And by the you, I am not talking to Hattie. I am talking for the audio listeners to my cat who is in my arms because she was trying to step on my laptop, throwing her away, thrown her away. Erica
She's
Gerald
going
Cersei, if
back in the trash.
she's going directly back to the trash can she is from. Captain Erica Gerald Cersei for the first time because our captain broke her face. And honestly, like, I wish it was a captain that I didn't like before, but I love both the captains. So, like,
The thing is, to be a USA captain,
you
obviously
have,
you've got to be American, but two,
yeah.
you've not only got to be gay, you've got to be married to a woman
You have to be gay married to a woman.
and very softly
If
spoken.
and very softly spoken, if you or your partner moved somewhere for the marriage, you can be a USA Rugby captain. Um, I
And
really can't.
also, you've got to have a tiny wife.
Tiny wife who plays rugby.
Yes.
You have to come from from a rugby house. And I guess for the moment, you have to be located in England. For the moment, Erica will probably never come back because her wife wouldn't live here. All of that said, I'm very excited about that. That is the best news in the world to me. I think it was the best choice. I think that it is a combination of a few things, which is her performance at the World Cup, which really made her a name. She, by the way, just for folks who are new to her or are new to the PWR or new to women's, she's been at Sale for a while. She met her wife at not this World Cup, the last World Cup. Oh no, they met at WXV. Um, they met
No, I think they met
WXV,
at the World Cup.
but it couldn't have been 2025, so it had to be.
No, it was 2022 when it was in New Zealand.
There we go. Yes. Yo, yes, absolutely. They met in New Zealand. That's absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Um, Met in New Zealand. Erica fell so much so that Kay was like, "Hey, why don't you come play for my little PWR team?" Erica said, like, "Do you think they would?" And they did. So Erica's actually been at Sale for a while, but also has been a part of this new look sale that has kind of changed everything for them. I think a lot of things came together at exactly the right time to give her the captaincy,
Mm.
and that makes me thrilled because that to me feels very American rugby and American sports. That is absolutely how we pick captains. So I'm
And
happy with
can I
that.
just say, the announcement photo is the greatest. I know that it was like a World Cup promo image where obviously she's got cowboy
I
boots on,
don't care.
but
It's one of
it's
my
so
favorite rugby
good.
images. It's a really iconic image. They made the announcement really good. And you know what? And so you're right. And if I can be messy, and I can because it's my podcast. If I can be messy for a moment, I know that it wasn't, but in my mind, this was them getting as mad as I am at the stupid fucking cowboy thing that England does. No, Hugh, clip this up. You've never had cowboys, first of all. You're English. None of you, one of you is fucking Welsh, first of all. So maybe like a sheep herder, but you're not a cowboy. None of you are cowboys. You're all English or Welsh. Um, and we're from fucking America, so they probably don't want me to say suck my dick on the podcast, so I won't. But in my mind, I'm like, yeah, the real cowboys, except for that, like, and then if you're American and you know all this stuff, you know that she's from Boston, and that's very funny because, like, they're not cowboys either. She's not from the Southwest. If anybody could be like, maybe you shouldn't be a cowboy, it'd be Hope Rogers because she's from Texas. Um,
Is she?
and I do, yeah, yeah, Hope's from Texas. And
Oh.
yeah, it's
I thought she was from like the Midwest.
some parts of Texas consider themselves kind of Midwestern.
It's a
Kind
big
of.
place.
It's a big place. It's in a lot of places. One side of it is like very much southwestern, like cactus and sand, and then one is very much like Louisiana swamp.
Mm.
So they got a lot going on there.
But do you know what, Julia?
Mm,
This ain't
mm.
Texas. Ain't no Hold'em. I don't know the rest of the lyrics.
I know you don't. And all I was going to say was Cowboy Captain Erica Gerald Cersei, Cowboy Carter.
Mm.
Great.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of Fluff for Lightning players here.
yes,
So
also
obviously
thrilling.
I will have to cheer them on.
Good. I would hope. I would hope that in an exchange of culture that you would be rooting for my team like I root for yours. Um,
I mean, also I feel like out of all of the teams representing the USA, this is the team that hates the Orange
all
Goblin the most.
the stuff. The Orange Goblin, you're such a lib. Um,
I didn't want to
they
say
do
his name.
they do hate Mango Mussolini. Well, we don't want to be electioneering. They do hate the Mango Mussolini the most. Also, and we're not going to go on again. I promise I won't. But no squad has pushed against perceived injustice like USA has and Canada.
Which, can I just say, Erica Jarrell Cersei is probably the player
Made it
from the USA who has been the most vocal about the USA trans ban.
um for and this is very very like nitpicky or whatever, but for those of you who watch PWR, you may have noticed she now always tapes in pink and blue tape, not just blue for sale. um it makes me sad that more people haven't asked about it. I know that it's because of the media culture in the UK. I know that it's not about her. It's not about her or anti-Americanism. It's just transphobia, which is correct and true. That's what it is. But what I really appreciate, and it's always hard to kind of like sum up a press release that I don't know that everybody has seen, but USA Rugby did an article on announcing Erica Gerald Cersei as the new captain, and she took the time directly in that to be like, oh, by the way, we're gonna keep pushing back. Like she said it without saying it, but she's like, I'm really proud of this squad because we aren't afraid to push back against USA Rugby, is basically what she
And
said.
and I
And I
think,
and I would love to see a world where where like Kate Williams could come and be like, we pushed against WRU. But
yeah,
like,
because the thing is, in the past, like we have had thoughts about like why certain people were picked as Welsh captains. We've seen in Ireland a few years ago where players who spoke out were dropped. And now we're
absolutely.
seeing a
And that was
player who has
egregious.
been, and with those, it was like relatively quiet. It wasn't really people
Yes.
saying stuff on social media. This is Erica Jarrell Cersei coming out saying, this doesn't make any sense. I don't agree with it. Like posting about it every day. And yet
She
she's
and
been
what I
made captain.
Exactly. And so that I didn't want to start off with that because I didn't and I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed of being a big wokey. I know you're not either, but it's not always beneficial to you as somebody who's trying to be an ambassador of women's rugby to always come straight out with it because some people are just immediately going to become non-receptive. But I do firmly believe probably that I think the way that USA Rugby works at the senior level, I think that it was probably brought to the players. I don't think that USA Rugby would ever name a captain without having talked to the team and knowing the way that they are and the collective values that they have and the statement that they made at the World Cup and the statements that club teams have made here since, all of which they all played for in various times in their lives. I think they do finally feel empowered to say something. And when the question arose, like, we're thinking about Erica, what would you guys think? They were probably all like, hell yeah,
Yeah.
great. Um, and they are willing to push against it. I'm really hoping that this means that they will be making more statements because I think they're really impactful. And I don't know, it would be really cool if other nations could see this and just be like, there is another way. Because you, especially for if you like, if you play for England or you play for New Zealand, like you can speak out. Like, no, you're not at like what they're not going to risk not winning.
Mm.
If you're high profile, you can. But
So with that,
with that,
my
uh,
final two. What my two questions, please?
oh, okay. I thought you were gonna do yours. Yes. So for me, while we can't necessarily call her a breakout because she was at the World Cup, I would say she is still definitely early enough that I'm gonna call her a potential, and it's definitely gonna be Erica Koulibaly. Um, was thrilling to watch in the World Cup for us who followed the first season of WER. That is when I considered that like she really broke out.
Mm.
Um, I am very happy that Cass Bargel is selected. I think, I mean, I love Olivia Ortiz. She is one of my favorite scrum halves to watch. Obviously, you always want to have an equal backup, and I think Cass is absolutely that. Um, obviously, like super inspiring story, but also like she's good. She's good, dude.
I think
She's a crossover who makes it a great nine, which is pretty rare.
one
Sorry,
of
go on.
my biggest memories of WER is that every single advert I had on DAZN was Cass Bargel talking about her stoma bag.
I don't know, man. That's cool to me.
It was. I learned a lot.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought you meant like they
But
overdid it because I
it
do think that sometimes in rugby we do that. Absolutely, that
yeah.
we overdo the like this person has a disability or this person has dyslexia.
Well,
Like
the thing
that
is, like,
sucks, but it's not all about them.
when you watch American sports in the UK legally, you because we have like limits on how many ad breaks we can
Yeah.
have, it means we get like really weird segments.
Yes.
So, like, I get really weird segments with the WNBA. I get really weird segments when I watch like the NCAA basketball, things like that. I get really weird segments when I watch hockey. But it was like in WER, it was literally just Cass Barger.
Good. Good. To be honest, I did learn so much, and every question that she's like, every dummy asks me this question first. I was like, me too. This dummy wants to know, how does it not splash everywhere? I don't know. But anyway, she's super cool. And more to the point, I also bring her up because I have some friends, but she's also from New England, who are big fans. And she's given back a lot to her rugby community as well. So, I know that that doesn't matter about your play, but I care about the whole player, and
Hmm.
that's my answer. Where I think they will be, um, third, third or
Yeah.
fourth. It sucks that this is
I
four. It should be six. I'm gonna keep saying it until somebody clips it up and sends it to World Rugby.
yeah.
Imagine
Um
how much more fun this comparison would be if we also had a Japanese and a South African team
I think it's
to compare.
having South Africa and Japan play each other every year would be fucking fascinating.
It would also be, yeah, okay. I was gonna say, not only would it be like really good for both teams, but it'd be so fun. It was fun at the World Cup. That was a really entertaining
Was it
match.
no, was it the World Cup that they played each other, or was it WXV that they played each other?
Oh, it might have been WXV.
Yeah. Anyway,
It feels like if they played together at the World Cup, that's definitely one you would have gone to.
yeah. But WXV, no, not really. Like Japan versus New Zealand would be fascinating. Japan
Yeah,
versus Canada
it would be
with the
really
ruck
good.
speed would be so good.
It would be so fun.
So
That's
yeah,
true.
the USA versus South Africa, that forward battle.
It's gonna be so fun. I really can't wait for that tour.
So
I'm excited.
yeah, it'd be big. Um,
Who are your two?
my
Or
two.
what are your two?
So I agree. I think it's probably going to be third. I think that the it really is a battle between Canada and New Zealand, and then a
Yeah,
battle between Australia and the USA. And I think it's unfortunate that
absolutely.
it's a weak, what could be a weak Australia side,
Mm.
that gets USA in third. I, the person that I'm looking forward to seeing, and it's weird because she was a breakout a bit at the World Cup, but I don't remember her playing every game, and I think she's probably going to get a lot of game time seeing as Kate Zachary is out,
I think I know who you're going for then.
is Tafuna. Yeah, she's going to be lethal.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't be surprised if she starts every game.
I think it's nailed on.
Yeah,
With KZ out and with Rachel Johnson retired,
yeah,
because I see Frida Tafuna as the inheritor to the Rachel Johnson crown
yeah.
for
Because
sure.
she's an eight, like she's a
She's an
through
out
through
and
eight.
out. Yes, exactly. You're absolutely right. I was actually, I thought Tafuna would be up there, but I also thought actually you were going to go for Eriki. But yeah,
Yeah. I also, if I was going to go for a real rugby hipster answer, it would be Emerson Allen, but I'm worried she probably won't get a lot of game time.
no, I don't think so either. And the reason that I thought it would be Eriki is because you've gotten to see a lot of her work recently. So
That's true. And the same with Talia Brody.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
and the thing is like for me, Talia Brody is established. I think
yeah.
she's yeah.
But Emerson Allen is, I talked about it on the Leicester Tigers pod when I went on
Yeah.
the last
Yeah.
time,
And that was very
is
enjoyable.
is that she was the player that I was watching. It was Loughborough versus Leicester, and obviously Leicester, I'm sorry to their fans, right? Just I'm sorry. That's all I have to say to you. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I was watching and I was like, who is that? Who is number 5 for Leicester? Who is she? Like, who is this
Gotcha,
giant
bitch.
woman who
I
is
was gonna
just
say this
this
huge kind American
absolute like?
woman.
But I didn't know she was American. She was just like this woman with arms,
Oh, okay.
like just
And another thing is
ginormous.
like it always goes in rugby and like giant and soft spoken.
And just
It's always the
absolutely,
case.
just absolutely ginormous, putting people on their ass and then stealing every line out. And like
Yeah.
sometimes she was like being lifted by like one person and just like just jump, like she was just mad. And then I
And if you
looked it
look
up and then I was like, oh, she's from Minnesota.
yeah, yeah. I'm looking at her actually now that I think about it, second row is incredible.
It's a
That's a
stacked
great
second row.
pool. That's stacked.
That's why I do worry that she probably won't get that much game
Yeah,
time because
yeah.
that's like obviously
If that's who else is there.
Ricky's gonna start and then it'll be between Rachel and
Hallie and Rachel,
Hallie.
yeah.
Um and the other one will be on the bench. So
Yep.
it is literally just Emerson. You know, but she'll gain a lot from being there. Um
Absolutely. And to be fair, so like I am a big Hallie Tuffo fan, so like I say this not with a ton of joy, but she hasn't been playing. Yeah. So I think there's a good chance for Emerson.
yeah. But yeah, she's like 6'2", 6'3", like she's massive. Former
Please
basketball,
stop
volleyball
saying that.
player.
I was gonna say, please stop saying that before like somebody. Well, it won't be the W because they have too many players as it is. Um, but you know, don't let anybody hear that.
No, she's just a good Minnesota gal.
One day you should go to Minnesota so you can talk about it.
Literally all
You
I
have
know
a
about
lot. You have a lot of opinions about states and provinces based solely on the sports that you watch from them, and it would be very funny for me
it's
personally,
my
to watch
opinions
you
on
experience it.
America and specifically places in America are formed around sports teams and TikToks.
Exactly. And it's the same as when I was texting you that I had just, or I was texting you and our other England-based friends about the place in London called Kensington, which sounds very posh. And on Good Scouts Rugby, they were talking about it in a way that made it sound very not good. Um, and I was just like, but like Kensington Manor. And like, no, it's not just
And
how it
then
sounds, Julia.
yeah, and then I had to be like, so have you heard of
That's
Grenfell
where
Tower?
Grenfell was. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yes. Also, Chelsea. Like, so for us, we
Because
named a really
Kensington,
posh. So we named a really posh part of New York Chelsea. So I thought that that was named after a posh part.
yeah, so Chelsea is so Kensington and Chelsea is a borough. But things about
Right.
any
But
so
then on
all
some
London
list that our
boroughs.
friends shared, one of the lists that our friends shared says that Chelsea is like one of the worst.
So with any London
It's
borough,
regions of the area. Yeah.
yeah, because the boroughs are like actually relatively large,
Yeah.
you can literally have like one street which
A
is the
nice.
biggest
Yeah.
shit show you've ever seen. You literally want to lock up your phone and like run away, but not too fast because you don't want to draw attention to yourself, and you definitely wouldn't walk there after dark.
I keep forgetting you're still allowed to do poverty classism in the UK because like we can't say it, like you can't call something the ghetto anymore. And they're like,
I
this is the
wouldn't.
ghetto.
I'm not going that
No,
far.
I
I'm
know, no,
just,
I know.
I'm giving a public safety
You're like,
announcement.
I'm just telling you where to be afraid of as a white woman from a rural part of England.
This is a place I personally
Consider.
wouldn't go.
Oh my
Right.
God. Yeah, Hattie, you look and sound like you do. It's different.
Exactly. I'm a target.
You...
I can't defend
Oh,
myself. Have you
fuck
seen
off.
me? I'm the whitest woman
You
ever.
can't. Okay, so what's really funny, it's you are the whitest woman ever, but you
I'm,
are also like the meanest type of flanker, and you're like, I can't defend myself. I'm like, yeah, I can tell.
yeah. Um, but what am I going to do if somebody's got a knife? Anyway, um, having said, I just value my own personal safety. It, you can also have incredibly posh places, which again, you don't want to go because you might get your phone stolen by somebody on an electric scooter.
I don't have a follow-up to that. We don't have that.
Basically, don't go. And I don't say this as like the Reform UK people who are like, don't go
Don't
to
go to
London, it's
London.
full of crime.
Yeah,
Um, just don't go to London because it's full of tourists who want to scam you and like
correct.
scammers. And it's far too busy and it's way more expensive.
I was
And
gonna say everything is overpriced. Like, and also, well, and then on top of it, like for me personally, I've been, so I don't even go again.
yeah,
I
I
do know
will
that.
say there is some of the bookshops in London are very nice. But again,
Well, you would hope.
yeah, like you've got, but then the very, very large Waterstones is very overwhelming.
I think you're easily overwhelmed.
It's like 6 floors. It's the biggest bookshop in Europe. It's a bit
Former
much.
Europe.
We haven't left the continent, Julia.
I don't
Also,
know.
this podcast is like 2.5 hours long.
I know what I was gonna wrap it up with. I was just waiting for the bit to end, but what I was gonna wrap it up as, it's very funny and just a little tip for the listener. Oh my God, it really did go long. I'm sorry. Um, It is a preview. We're going to do that, but we did name it a 90-minute bonanza. And I hope that they keep it that name. And then when people like open the video file or open the audio file and they see the number of minutes that it is, that they're just like, oh, and then like a funny thing for us to say to end this is if you saw that it's titled 90 minutes and then you saw a bigger number, no, you didn't. We're not women in
If
STEM.
if you sped it up, I'm sure you
You
can make
should
it 19
actually. You
minutes.
should. I think what people would really like is to hear us, but like sound like a chipmunk.
Yeah,
I
because
don't know.
my
I don't
voice
know.
isn't high enough already.
Oh my God. Everybody says that they like your voice more. And we were talking about this off the air, and it's because you're British. The only reason people like it more is because you're British. And because I sound like a pubescent boy.
I mean, I can talk about how not to get stabbed in London and sound fine. If Julia says it,
Yeah, see, so there's the problem. And then if you were to start talking about Baltimore, like it would get really bad.
mm.
Like, don't. Mm.
L Again, I say all of this wokely.
Everything we've said today is woke. And if you take issue with anything we've said today, please leave it in a comment because any engagement is engagement. And we like
Lee
to
will
know,
reply in a very sassy manner and not tell us about it.
well, I mean, there's that. I was trying to entice them. Folks, this has been technically an episode of Women's Rugby Treehouse. This has been a preview of the Six Nations and the Pacific Four. Stick with us.
The
I don't
Women's
know.
International Window.
The Women's International Window. The this one is the annual. Uh, oh no, what did he call it? The quadrennial lesbian. That's fine. Folks, this has been an episode. Thank you so much for being with us. We will be back. We will be covering the goings on. As we mentioned, both of us are going to be traveling in various ways, so we're not sure what we're doing next week, but we will be covering what happens this weekend, and probably not previewing the next weekend because you don't need another long one. But as always, if you have any questions or thoughts, please let us know. We always love chatting. Thank you so much for joining us. Hattie, do you have anything else before we let them go?
I wrote about American women's rugby, and I also made it into a video. Check out
It's
the
extremely good.
Rugby
That's a
History
that's a
Project.
great way to end it.
And
Please
I
check out.
don't normally do self promo, so you should check it out because it didn't get a lot of views and it makes me sad.
It makes me really sad, and I do think that it's because it's American rugby, and that's wrong. And it's really written well, and she performs it really well. Recites it really well. So please do check that out. Otherwise, I think you are thoroughly informed, and we will see you next time.
Bye.